bat hopelessly.
The Brewers take on the Mariners tonight at American Family Field. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts at 6:05 on the home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 12 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Tuesday, August 18th. Your top story, a man charged in a deadly shooting spree appears in court.
I'm Jessica Tai. Tensions rise in the war with Iran.
Partly cloudy, a little more humid today, high of 81 degrees, chance for thunderstorms throughout the day and into the evening hours, overnight low in the mid-60s. It's 78 and partly cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:01. From the WTMJ breaking newsroom, the man accused of a deadly shooting spree earlier this month in Milwaukee makes his first court appearance.
Thomas Zelikofer's cash bond was set at $1 million. He faces 3 counts of first-degree intentional homicide and 4 counts of possessing a firearm as a convicted felon. Prosecutors say he killed 26-year-old Vanessa De Herrera and 29-year-old Scott Buchholz near 21st and Pierce on August 8th. About 20 minutes later, prosecutors say he killed 39-year-old Shamar Lahair near 39th and Townsend. Zelikofer was arrested last week after a standoff, along with his cousin Elena Cole, who was charged with harboring a felon and 3 counts of child neglect. Zelikofer's next appearance in court is next Monday. Nazir Spencer, WTMJ News.
Oracle is dropping its lawsuit against Wisconsin utility regulators over new rules designed to protect electric customers from data center costs.
The tech company sued the Public Service Commission earlier this summer over requirements that some large data centers provide financial guarantees for their electricity needs. Oracle argued the rules could add $100 million in annual costs, but the tech giant has now voluntarily dismissed the lawsuit without much explanation. Oracle is involved in the planned $15 billion AI data center campus in Port Washington, which is expected to begin operations next year. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Iran's top negotiator says the Strait of Hormuz is closed while President Donald Trump insists that it's open and safe. News Nation's Robert Sherman.
The president says that talks with Iran have hit a standstill and aren't happening. This was a statement that he released saying there are no talks or conversations going on or scheduled with the Islamic Republic of Iran. The naval blockade remains in full force in effect. The Hormuz Strait is open and operating. All water mines have been removed or detonated. 2 attacks, both of them happened off of the coast of Oman, according to British maritime trade officials, within the last 24 hours. Each of those incidents resulted in casualties, showing that this pressure and this tension still exists in those waterways.
The negotiated 60-day ceasefire between the two sides ended on Monday.
Ukrainian forces are carrying out one of their biggest drone attacks on Russia since the war started. They're using more long-range drones for strikes deep inside Russia. Moscow's mayor says Ukraine launched more than 600 drones at the Russian capital overnight. ABC's Lama Hassan.
This was another massive aerial attack on the Moscow region. The mayor saying that Ukraine launched 620 drones overnight. They managed to shoot down 180 of them, hitting one of them hitting a high-rise building. And once again, we're also seeing a Wildberries warehouse targeted. That is Russia's equivalent of Amazon. We saw Ukraine doing this over the weekend as well. And one of the main goals here for Ukraine is to bring the war, or try to bring the war, to the ordinary Russian citizen. And the other reason is because Ukraine has accused Wildberries of handling military goods.
The latest phase of the war has directly impacted Russia's domestic fuel supplies and dented the Russian economy.
Well, roughly 2 months until the Milwaukee Bucks begin the regular season. Fans already showing interest in tickets. Bucks president Josh Gleshing.
We've sold more tickets in the days following, substantially more tickets in the days following the schedule release than we have in years past.
Bucks begin the season on the road against the Wizards October 21st before hosting the Chicago Bulls 2 nights later. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. More red today. The Dow is off about 100 points at 53,370. NASDAQ down about 270 points at 26,376. And the S&P lagging about 40 points in the red at 7706. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
The Brewers begin a 6-game homestand tonight. We're looking ahead. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:05.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scafidi here for QC Kinetics. When your joints hurt every day and you've been told you need surgery, do your homework. Remember, once the joint is replaced, there's no going back. Before you schedule surgery, consider getting a second opinion from QC Kinetics. Whether you're dealing with pain from bone-on-bone arthritis, a torn meniscus, or years of wear and tear, surgery isn't the only conversation you should have. Talk to Dr. Ashley Caravelli and her team at QC Kinetics about how they use regenerative treatments to deliver relief to patients like you here in Greenfield and Mequon. You start with a medical evaluation, reviewing your history, any imaging, and the actual source of your pain. If you're a good candidate, they'll concentrate tiny healing tools within your body right in the spot that's actually causing the pain. The whole idea is to give you a real shot at holding off on surgery, or in some cases, avoiding it altogether. And that's why it makes sense to explore every option before making a decision that could change your life. Don't just accept surgery is your only choice. Call QC Kinetics today for a second opinion and know your options. The conversation and consultation are totally free. Call QC Kinetics at 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. QC Kinetics.
It's a summer of big wins with WinFest at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Just play with your Potawatomi Rewards card for entries and your chance to win cash and reward play all summer long. Then keep the excitement going because all your monthly drawing entries roll over into the WinFest final drawings on September 25th, where you could win cars, dream vacations, free play, and cash. Don't miss out on WinFest only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Shopping for new windows and doors shouldn't feel like a negotiation. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin doesn't believe in games. They never inflate pricing, and there's no high-pressure sales pitch. Just premium windows and doors built for long-term comfort, beauty, and peace of mind. Buy direct through Pella, and one trusted team handles everything with Pella-certified installers every step of the way. Real pricing, premium quality, no games. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers begin a 6-game homestand tonight. The Mariners are in town from Seattle. Manager Pat Murphy with an update on Bryce Terang and Sal Frelick.
I think you'll see Bryce give it a go. You know, he's nurturing some pretty sore ankle and a pretty sore knee. But I think, this rest he's going to try it this week. Sal, I think, is a little further away. He's got to make sure that his shoulder is strong enough to withstand the day-to-day of the big leagues.
Shortstop Cooper Pratt is expected to begin a rehab assignment this evening. Coverage of tonight's game begins at 6:05 on WTMJ. At Packers camp, second-round pick Brandon Cisse continues to rotate in with the number 1 defense, pushing fellow cornerbacks like Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine. All part of the plan, according to General Manager Brian Gutekunst.
Sometimes you're going to want to see a younger player go against better receivers to see how they do, and you're just moving guys around to kind of see how that works. So we're in that phase and just trying to get as much information on these guys as we can before we get to the regular season.
Packers continue preseason play Friday night in Denver against the Broncos.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I do want to alert you right now to an incident in Racine County. They're calling it an incident. Can't tell from the cameras exactly what's happening, but 4194 South, very close to County K. The right lane is blocked right now. There are a handful of emergency responders. There are a couple of people outside of vehicles off to the side. I will say I did just note during that sports update that there was a fire truck out there, and that fire truck has now left. So hopefully whatever incident this is, it is ramping up. But in the meantime, we do still have some emergency responders on 4194 South right by County K. The right lane is blocked right now.
Partly cloudy, a little more humid today. Chance for some afternoon and evening showers, high 81. Partly cloudy tonight at a low of 64. Sun returns on Wednesday and Thursday. 76 the high on Wednesday, 80 the high on Thursday. Partly cloudy on Friday, just a slight chance of a shower or storm at a high of 80 degrees. 74, partly cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Let's take a look at the radar. It's definitely not a big line of anything moving our way, so things will sort of have to piece themselves together for us to see a little bit of rain. But it seems like those opportunities in the last several days, it's kind of come together and then fizzled out before it got to Milwaukee. So it indicates the forecast does a 40% chance of showers today, but I'm sure there are going to be some who don't get wet at all, and some who maybe get a little bit more of it. We'll try and track it throughout the day.
We also have TMJ4 meteorologist Lauren Larson joining us at 1:37. She is tracking it all right now.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Happening now, 2 astronauts are taking a spacewalk. More than 230,000 people around the world are watching this live right now. The astronauts stepped outside the International Space Station this morning to do some repair work. They're replacing a crucial piece of equipment for communication. It's a space-to-ground antenna. It transmits data and allows high-speed communication between the space station and mission control in Houston. So just hearing that, you get an idea of how important this piece of equipment is. Retired astronaut Leroy Chow, who was born right here in Milwaukee, was one of the astronauts who first installed the antenna more than 20 years ago. And here's how he describes taking a spacewalk.
The experience of going on a spacewalk, or what we call EVA, extravehicular activity, the one word I could use to describe it is surreal. It's almost like, I remember, even though I've done 6, every time it was almost like I was in a dream.
Remember when we talked to Dr. Chow? It was when the NASA mission was cut short because the astronaut got sick, and NASA wasn't saying anything about it. And we thought, well, what exactly is going on here? And it was really interesting to hear from Dr. Chow, especially because he's from Milwaukee.
Very crazy story.
Yeah, well, Chow calls today's spacewalk critically important. Today's mission was scheduled to take about 6.5 hours, so we have at least another 90 minutes to go. That time, by the way, does not include the time it takes to get in and out of those spacesuits.
Well, social media giant Meta is back in court today facing a lawsuit from nearly 30 state attorneys general, including Wisconsin, which argues features on Facebook and Instagram have had a negative effect on the mental health of individuals.
In court filings, Meta estimates it could be forced to pay damages up to $1.4 trillion if it loses this case, though Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers has called that number unreasonable, according to the outlet Law 360. Meta recently revealed it spent $2.4 billion on legal expenses in the second quarter of 2026 alone. And while that's relatively small potatoes for such a large company, it could add up, with hundreds of similar cases expected to go to trial in the coming months. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
So remember in March of this year, there was a Los Angeles state court, and they were working with an individual. It became a bellwether case. Well, the jury ultimately decided to hand down a landmark $6 million verdict against Meta and Google. This was the nation's very first social media addiction bellwether trial. Now all these other things are popping up, and this is a massive one. So you got roughly 30 state attorneys general, including here from Wisconsin, arguing about the potential pitfalls here of social media giants such as Meta, Facebook, and Instagram. So that continues today. We'll have more from Dubusky coming up later today on our Tech Tuesday segment in the 2 o'clock hour.
Well, is the hottest new pickleball partner your local politician? I guess we'll see. The Jackson Park Farmers Market in Milwaukee is hosting Play Pickleball with Your Local Politician later this month. For just $10, beginners can sign up and rally with county supervisors, aldermen, state lawmakers, and a state senator. If playing pickleball isn't your thing, you can always watch, maybe discover whether your city council member has a killer backhand or just a killer campaign handshake. There are also more than 30 market vendors to check out. So here's a midday question for you. Do you want to play pickleball with a politician, or would you rather keep politics off the court? And if you do want to play pickleball with a politician, which one?
It's a very good question here. I don't know if there's a simple answer, right? I guess it's an attempt to sort of humanize elected officials, some of whom you may have voted for, some of whom you may have differing opinions than. Perhaps it's a way to humanize those individuals or connect with your lawmakers here. The name Scott Spiker really stands out to me. It just sounds like a good pickleball name. Right,
and he is participating.
Right, I don't know if he's good at pickleball, but that jumps off the page. Scott Spiker, pickleball.
I like that. I like where you're going with that. So let us know. Do you think this is ridiculous? Do you think it's crazy? Do you want nothing to do with playing with a politician, playing some pickleball, or do you think this is a great idea? You can text us at the Sounding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and text line. That's 855-616-1620. By the way, there are 11 elected officials scheduled to play. They include, among some of the others, not just Spiker, but Milwaukee Common Council Alderman Peter Burgelis, State Assembly Rep Priscilla Prado, and State Senator Tim Carpenter.
Enjoy. Bring your paddles. It's 12:14 on WTMJ.
Earn now, spend later at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Now through August 26th, rewards members earn $10 in Blaine's Bucks for every $100 spent in store. Redeemable just like cash September 3rd to the 16th. Right now, save $5 on the state lawn fertilizer, weed and feed, or winterizer. Rewards members save an extra $5. Plus, new and only at Blaine's, Ever Elm women's tees are on sale for just $9.99. Earn Blaine's Bucks now to spend later, just like cash. Only at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Happening now, it's a Steinhoffel's Labor Day sale. It's one of the best times of the year to save. Get up to 30% off furniture and home decor, plus incredible deals on top mattress brands like Beautyrest, Tempur-Pedic, Helix, and more. And for a limited time, when you test rest a Beautyrest Black mattress, you'll get a free $25 gas card just for giving it a try. How fantastic is that? Hurry into your nearest Steinhoffel showroom, tell them Jessica Ty sent you, or shop online at steinhoffels.com.
Here's a Wisconsin number worth knowing. Today's fourth graders are the entry-level workforce of 2035. But here in Milwaukee, just 9% of them can read on grade level. 9%. That's a workforce challenge, an economy challenge, a challenge for our future. Milwaukee's families, civic leaders, and businesses are working together to change it, and it's important that we all know where things really stand. Learn how City Ford Collective is working to improve outcomes for all of Milwaukee's students and strengthen our state's future at cityfordcollective.org.
Ready to refresh your look this August? Stock up and save at Anton Salon and Medical Spa in Delafield. Buy one medical-grade skincare or professional hair care product and get the second 50% off. Choose from trusted brands like Skin Better Science, Moroccan Oil, Aveda, and more. This special ends August 31st, so don't wait. Not sure what's right for your skin or hair? Anton's experienced team offers complimentary consultations to help you find the perfect products. Visit Anton Salon and Medical Spa in Delafield today and discover your best look yet.
A little more muggy today as compared to yesterday. High of 81 degrees. There's some stuff on the radar out to the west, western Wisconsin, Dubuque area, even a little bit in Illinois, then stuff converging from the north that'll end up in central Wisconsin. If it all pieces together, we could be wet here in the later part of the afternoon and later on this evening, but it could fizzle, as we've seen over the last several days here, especially over the weekend, where didn't get much falling in terms of rain in southeastern Wisconsin. So we'll keep an eye on it. Otherwise, cloudy skies eventually here in our high of 81 degrees. Wednesday and Thursday look really nice. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, maybe touching 80 degrees on Thursday with plenty of sunshine. It's 74 right now, partly cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:17. Well, every year, each branch of the military creates enlistment goals, and they're typically tied to the federal fiscal year, so October 1st through September 30th. With just over a month to go in the fiscal year, the Army, Navy, and Air Force have all reached their enlistment goals. In fact, now you got a wait list. The Air Force reached their enlistment goal in April. Let's welcome in ABC's Jim Ryan. Jim, this is the third consecutive year that all active duty military services have met recruiting goals. It was just a few years ago there was a recruiting crisis. So what is driving the turnaround here?
Well, economics, that's a big part of it, certainly. There is a war overseas as well, and that probably is a part of it as well. But if you look at the economy, during the pandemic, of course, recruitment essentially fell off because you couldn't do recruiting drives on college campuses, high school campuses, and so it really went to nearly zero. It's been essentially rebounding since then. And yes, for the last 3 years, all of the military branches have hit their goals. The Marine Corps also on track, along with the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force to meet their goals this year. So yeah, it's all kind of coming together now. So how have the branches modernized their entry standards? You referenced a couple of things that maybe they weren't able to do a few years back. Yeah. Well, that's true. Well, first of all, I mean, the recruiting has certainly changed. It used to be a TV and radio sort of thing now. It's all over social media. YouTube has channels dedicated and dropping ads into various videos out there as well. But yeah, the standards have changed somewhat. Now, the Pentagon won't say that they've relaxed their standards, but they are trying to help people get in. If you're, a little heavy, maybe, or you haven't met the goals on the standardized testing, then they'll give you a chance. They'll help help coach you along and then test you again and see if you can make it in. So, yeah, the method of recruiting has changed. The message has changed somewhat. And now we're seeing perhaps the fruits of that.
I remember when I was in high school, there used to be like an ROTC day at Brookfield Central High School, and there was like a strip mall that was adjacent to a movie theater where you could walk in. It was sort of a recruitment and enlistment sort of a hub right there in the city that I grew up in. And then you'd see ads during the NFL, right? The Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines. We are the armed forces. And then you get back to the Rams and St. Louis Cardinals playing football. So it seems like some of that has changed. I don't see those strip mall locations much anymore. I'm not sure what's happening at the high schools. I'm quite removed from that. Fewer traditional methods of advertising, but you mentioned the YouTube channels and kind of where younger people are and where they're digesting information is sort of a big thing.
Oh, right, yeah, and on TikTok and on various social media, you'll see ads dropped in there as well. So, yeah, the military, the Pentagon is trying to meet kids where they are, and yes, there have been recruiting drives at high schools now, and also on college campuses to try to convince people that, you know what, if you don't have a lot of job prospects after you graduate, come on, sign up, why not? And yeah, and in fact, the Pentagon itself has issued what it calls a survey that it gives to potential recruits, and it asks the simple question: if you were to consider joining the U.S. military, Greg, what would be the main reason? Well, top 10 reasons: pay, tuition, gaining experience and work skills, travel, health, and medical benefits. So you can see that as much as it is about patriotism, it's also about pragmatism and trying to find work in an economy that doesn't have a lot of jobs to offer.
It's a really interesting point because we're talking about just yesterday the rising cost of tuition at UW campuses. And while it's under the rate of inflation, it's still going up, right? And it's still a thing. And that's a story really in every state with a state university system. So instead of going into debt, I assume some are coming out of high school saying, well, why not make money, right? In maybe 20 years I could retire and get on the pension.
Well, absolutely. And in the meantime, pick up my degree, have the military pay for it, have medicine paid for, the VA system. So, yeah, I think it's a fairly attractive thing to people who are coming out of their education and deciding, well, now where do I go?
I'm wondering just if you polled all those who thought about recruiting or have enlisted, I'm wondering how many would cite the long-term benefits of a career in the armed forces, looking ahead that 20 or 30 years, which triggers the pension plan, and then a certain percentage of your income comes back to you for the rest of your life. I'm wondering how many would look that far ahead versus the sort of, well, I could go into debt today or make money tomorrow.
Well, you know, kids being kids, they're probably fairly short-sighted about that. You know, it's like, well, how am I going to afford Christmas this coming year for my family? How am I going to afford that new car that I'd like to buy? And yeah, this is an opportunity to go ahead and do that in the short term. But yeah, the pension certainly is something that's attractive to a lot of those folks coming in. You know, they in ABC talked to something like 40 recruits along with recruiters, and they all kind of say the same thing, that, you know what, it's a good career choice alongside the others that maybe don't exist anymore.
So, Jim, how do the armed forces keep the momentum here? Because, like I mentioned, just a few years ago, I mean, it was crisis territory. Sure. Now you got a wait list for qualified applicants.
Well, it's kind of out of the hands of the military, isn't it? I mean, if the economy is kind of simmering along and doing well, and jobs are being created, and people are finding, and interest rates are coming down, people can afford homes, then the military might lose some of its luster. So, I mean, we saw this after the recession in 2008. Right? The economy was in the tank, essentially. So in 2009, 2010, you saw an explosion of people walking into recruiting offices. The recruiting for the Army was even stronger than it is today, at something like 80,000 people signed up. This fiscal year, it was 61,000. So, yeah, the military is sort of a canary in a coal mine as far as the economy goes. It sort of predicts what's going to happen next, potentially.
Yeah, pretty significant increase now in recruiting goals, as those will be going up. You got a wait list now in the armed forces versus the crisis we experienced just 4 years ago in 2022. ABC's Jim Ryan reporting from Dallas, Texas. We appreciate it, Jim. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
They used to come door to door. Right, the recruitment people from the Army would come to your house. If you were like an incoming senior in high school, you could expect the summer after your junior year, somebody was going to come knocking saying, have you thought about this as a potential career? Or instead of college, have you thought about this? I don't know if that happens much anymore. I'm kind of removed from that, and I have two daughters, so I don't think anybody's coming around to the house anytime soon from the Army. But that used to be part of their recruitment pitch. There was a kind of a central office near a movie theater in Brookfield. And
in the malls. I remember those offices.
They were all over the place. It was so common. So they've had to adjust here quite a bit. But good to see those numbers back to where they are today, because it was crisis mode coming out of the pandemic.
Well, and an interesting angle, too, that we first told you about yesterday when this was breaking, the Trump administration has argued that the surge reflects confidence in its leadership. But what we're finding out is that's not what people who are signing up are saying. They're saying it's because of those economic reasons. Hey, I need help paying for college, or the healthcare looks good, or I just need a reliable career.
Yeah, we just did that story yesterday about how tuition could be going up in a university system near you, right? We talked about the 2-year tuition freeze proposal from the universities of Wisconsin, but on the backside of that would be a 2-year increase at or below inflation levels. So yes, the cost of college only is going up, and you've got some good long-term opportunities here in the armed forces. Interesting stuff. 12:25 here at WTMJ, Wisconsin's Midday News podcast, built by Siding Unlimited. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Is life insurance still on your list from earlier this year? Now is the perfect time to just get it done. A buddy told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I added this to my list this year and got it done. I called SelectQuote and was shocked at how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $18 a month. My wife's also 40 and her $5,000 policy was only $16 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, no medical exam was required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Checking this off my list felt great, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-5858 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-280-5858. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Hey, it's Greg Matzik for Annex Wealth Management. Are you where you thought you'd be with your portfolio? Well, if you haven't looked at it in a while, or maybe wondering what you own and why you own it, might be a good time for a complimentary review. They do this at Annex. Tax planning, investments, estate planning, all from an in-house team at Annex Wealth Management. We've experienced all of the above during our 8 years now with Annex. No matter where you are in your journey, they can help. Review your portfolio with the expert financial team at Annex. Make sure you're on the right track. Annex Wealth Management takes the time to understand you. They know that your situation is custom. Your plan is also custom with Annex. And as a fee-only fiduciary, they are required to act in your best interest. Looking at the whole picture here, all at one place and near you, wherever you are here in southeastern Wisconsin and beyond. You can join Annex in person for the 7 tax moves to consider before December, Thursday, August 27th. It's a great event here, a free event at Ember Social in Grafton. It begins at 6 o'clock. So whether you're retired or maybe preparing for retirement, you'll leave with some great ideas to discuss with your financial advisor and your tax professional. You'll want to do that before December. Again, it's coming up Thursday, August 27th. Reserve your spot. Be a guest for you and a guest at the events tab at annexwealth.com and know the difference with Annex Wealth Management.
Have you ever looked in the mirror and just didn't feel like yourself anymore? Maybe your clothes don't fit the way they used to, or you don't like how you look in them. It's more than that. It's how you feel walking into a room, avoiding photos, or not feeling as confident as you used to be. Over time, that can wear on you. But here's the truth. Losing weight is one thing. Feeling confident again and keeping the weight off, that's what really matters. At Milwaukee Weight Loss, they help people lose 20 to 40 pounds naturally in about 60 days. Without injections, crazy workouts, or prepackaged meals. More importantly, they show you how to keep the weight off so you can feel comfortable in your clothes, confident going out, and actually like what you see in the mirror again. Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scavidi, and I started Milwaukee Weight Loss last year. I don't just feel lighter, I feel more confident. I've dropped a couple waist sizes, actually 4 inches. I've got more energy, and I just feel better about myself. It's time, right now. $200 off now through August 31st. Do not wait. Schedule your free consultation now at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Never a better time to feel better about what you look like and how you feel. Results may vary.
Healthy joints, healthy lifestyle. Vince Vetrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Arthritis, injuries, wear and tear, common joint issues that keep you from doing what you love. At OAW, a visit to the doctor doesn't always mean surgery. Everyone is different. Surgeons, nurses, physical therapists work together to come up with a plan for you. Maybe it's PT, medication, injection, and if you do need surgery like I did, you know you're in the best of hands. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. Book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Hildebrand of Hildebrand Law Firm. Since 2001, we've proudly helped Milwaukee families and business owners protect what matters most. We combine the experience of a larger law firm with the personal attention you deserve. We take the time to listen, explain your options, and create a plan that's right for you. When the stakes are high, you need trusted legal advocates who will stand by your side every step of the way. Protect your family, your legacy, and your peace of mind. Visit hildebrandlawfirm.net to schedule a consultation today.
The new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. Exclusively available at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power comparison between AP300PC and AP300S.
It's 12:30. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. Your top story. New details on violence at the end of the state fair.
I'm Jessica Ty. A man arrested after hiding in a cornfield after a high-speed chase.
Partly cloudy, humid, chance of showers and storms later tonight.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The stalemate in the Strait of Hormuz hitting another snag. President Trump in a post claims the waterway is part of a U.S. territory and is threatening to strike Oman if the U.S. ally continues talks with Iran on a separate deal to control the strait. ABC News contributor and former defense official Mick Mulroy says attacking Oman would damage U.S. leadership in the Gulf.
I think the concern is that Oman could sign an agreement with Iran that validates Iran's claim over the strait in the first place. And that's just simply not the case. It's an international waterway, and it needs to remain that, both from the U.S. perspective, but also perspective of every country in the world.
Pennsylvania's Attorney General announced the alleged leader of a cocaine trafficking ring involving Penn State University students and 2 student fraternities surrendered earlier this morning. 13 other suspects are also charged in the case. Severe storms looming for parts of the Midwest, already dealing with days of torrential rain and flooding. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 12:31. New details about the violent conclusion to the Wisconsin State Fair.
7 people were arrested on Sunday night after multiple fights broke out in the Spin City area. Video on social media showing police officers chase after people as they tried to clear the area. Wisconsin State Fair Park confirms 1 officer was struck but was not seriously hurt. They also confirmed there were no gunshots fired, contrary to rumors circulating on social media. No fairgoers were hurt, and the fights were isolated to the final hours of the fair on Sunday. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Milwaukee police are keeping a close eye on social media for any signs of new teen takeovers. But Lieutenant Cornejo of MPD says it's been mostly quiet since March.
We still monitor a lot of stuff to try to get ahead of the game, per se, on some of these teen takeovers. We haven't seen as many. However, there's always chatter still, and we're prepared to try to respond. But unfortunately, as you can tell, sometimes they just unfold out of nowhere.
Milwaukee continues to offer safe summer sites at multiple high schools this summer with 3 evening activities for teens.
A man is arrested in a Fond du Lac County cornfield after a high-speed chase. The 40-year-old man from Fond du Lac allegedly fled a traffic stop on Highway 175, leading police on a chase for over 12 miles. Deputies say the suspect then fled on foot into a cornfield and hid for several hours. They were able to arrest him using a drone and canine. A sheriff's deputy and police officers suffered minor injuries. 2 sheriff's officer vehicles were also damaged. The suspect has several felony charges pending. He was already on probation for cocaine and firearm convictions.
Oak Creek could get hundreds of thousands of dollars from Buc-ee's, but the deal comes with a proposed street name change. The Common Council is expected to vote tonight on an agreement that will give the city $350,000 up front, plus $15,000 every year for events and marketing. In return, the city would support renaming part of Elm Road to Buc-ee's Boulevard. The Buc-ee's project, by the way, expected to create about 200 jobs with a 74,000 square foot store and 120 fueling pumps.
And Milwaukee Public Schools are making a push to hire teachers before the school year begins.
The goal is to fill 50 educator vacancies before September 1st for MPS. The district says that's down from about 100 vacancies at this time last year, even as MPS has added teaching positions to help reduce class sizes. The district has held 66 recruiting events so far this year, including 11 career fairs at district schools and central services. Another 9 fairs are planned through the end of the year. The next one is this Thursday at the Tripoli Shrine Center, where licensed teachers can receive tentative job offers on the spot. Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
Man, it would be something, wouldn't it? If soon I'm doing traffic reports talking about Watch out. There's a crash at Buc-ee's Boulevard.
Get your beaver nuggets and fill up.
It might happen.
Slow going. Pick an alternate route.
Stay close. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 12:34.
The family-owned Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring line cooks, dishwashers, and third-shift cleaners. You'll make real money in a fun, busy atmosphere. Parents and grandparents, tell your kids. Inquire today and start next week. Visit mineshaftrestaurant.com.
And now about your house. It's where you live, but do you also live in your yard? My friends at Outdoor Living Unlimited help people extend their home, living beyond the wall. Your imagination may be somewhat limited, so let's call on Eric Brown, president of Outdoor Living Unlimited, to expand upon it.
I'm confident that 90% of the listeners can look outside their home and dream of a better, nicer, way more outstanding backyard. If you're one of the many, you'll need to call Outdoor Living Unlimited. Outdoor Living Unlimited's expert team can design a beautiful, functional, usable backyard space. Then our team can build it. You dream it, we build it. New deck, outdoor kitchen, pavers, retaining wall, screen room. How about a must-see automated pergola that doubles as a screen room? Picture this, a pergola that allows the sunlight through the slats, but with the press of a button, those slats close and now you have protection. Another press of the button and the screens roll down. There's your screen room. The ideas are endless. We recently built a brand new deck with a screen room pergola on top and stairs that lead to a paver oasis complete with a fire pit and seat walls. Amazing. New deck, outdoor kitchen, screen room, automated pergola. Let Outdoor Living Unlimited design and build the amazing backyard. Find us at OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
See all the cool things that Outdoor Living Unlimited can do for your yard on their Instagram page, or visit their unique outside-in showroom in Waukesha. And if you're looking outside of your home, dreaming of a more beautiful and functional, usable backyard, well, Outdoor Living Unlimited can design and build you an amazing showstopper of a deck, patio, complete with pergola and fire pit, just like they did for us. With expert care, Outdoor Living Unlimited installed a beautiful paver patio, complete with land and stone retaining wall, all sorts of space, room for a built-in kitchen, and complete with a gas fire pit. It's where we spend all of our time. Visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Acumen Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368. Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from Accunet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at ACCUNET.com.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. When the Packers begin the regular season, a newly arranged offensive line will be in front of Jordan Love, including Jordan Morgan at left tackle. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst has high hopes for the former first-round draft pick.
He's going to have to go out and do it over a full season and year in and year out, but he's done a really nice job through the spring, really nice job so far. I'm looking forward to getting some more reps here in the preseason and then get ready for the regular season, but we think he's got a super bright future to be a really good player in this league.
The Packers continue the preseason Friday night in Denver against the Broncos. Brewers take the field tonight against the Mariners in Game 1 of a 3-game series. Pat Murphy's team begins the day 29 games above 500 with just over a month left in the regular season.
But all in all, to have the best record in baseball this late in August is pretty surprising for anyone, although we did it last year. Still, it's an amazing feat for these guys, the way they compete.
Murphy believes second baseman Bryce Terang will return to action this week. Coverage of tonight's game begins at 6:05.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. It's looking really good out there right now. I don't want to jinx it. Sometimes you say it's quiet and then boom, just like that, it's not. But we have no crashes to report right now. Just a couple disabled vehicles out in the system that are not causing problems, so I'm not even going to waste your time with those. The only thing we have, and we're used to this by now, the most significant slowing right now is on I-94 westbound, right around American Family Field in our construction zone. But we're so used to that, there's a little bit of slowing eastbound headed into the city, but not nearly as much as westbound.
Partly cloudy with afternoon showers or thunderstorms possible. Some of those could be on the gusty side with wind. Scattered thunderstorms early, potentially tonight, then partly cloudy after midnight. And a low of 68 degrees after a midday high of 82. Wednesday and Thursday look really nice. 78 and sunny on Wednesday, touching 80 with plenty of sun on Thursday. 74 degrees right now in Milwaukee at 12:39. So I was in Minneapolis visiting family over the weekend, and we were following the box score here. And the Brewers, they were playing the Dodgers and some late-night baseball. And my sister-in-law looked at me and she said, "Who the heck is Jonathan Ornelas?" He's batting ninth in the Brewers lineup. And I looked at her and I said, "I have no freaking idea."
But we're going to ask today.
I have no idea who that is. I didn't see the transaction wire. I know the Brewers are a little beat up. I still don't know much about Jonathan Ornelas, but he was part of a Brewers team that beat the Dodgers 3 out of 4 games on that recently completed road trip. I don't know how much Adam McCalvey of Brewers.com knew about Jonathan Ornelas, but Adam joins us on the line right now. Adam, these are the stories that go for each and every team in the league. You never know who's going to help contribute to wins. Nobody knew anything about Jonathan Ornelas before the season began, and he may not be on the team long, but this is kind of how it goes when you're banged up.
I'll tell you who did know about him is Pat Murphy, because when Murph's oldest son, Kai, was 10 years old or 9 years old, he was on this Sandlot team that Murph runs down in Gilbert and Phoenix area, and they were so good they had a hard time booking opponents. So they went an age up and played a 10U club from the west side of Phoenix that had Matthew Liberatore and Nolan Gorman, who we know better as St. Louis Cardinals. And it also had a kid that Murph only knew as Johnny Rockets, because Kai Murphy could not get this kid out. And he hit bullets everywhere all over the field. He was the best player on the team with future big leaguers. And Murph didn't know the kid's last name. He doesn't know most players on his own team's last name now, so I guess that's unsurprising. But he did know Johnny Rockets, and now all these years later, Johnny Rockets is Jonathan Ornelas, and here he is on the Brewers while Bryce Terang is down with his knee thing that we think might get him back in the starting lineup tonight. That's TBD because we haven't seen a lineup yet, but in the meantime, Johnny Rockets helped fill in at second base, and it wasn't the greatest series we've ever seen for him in Los Angeles, but sometimes you just need guys to help you get through tough times, and the Brewers have done that a lot on the pitching front. And here with Terang down and with Cooper Pratt down, they needed a middle infielder to help out.
So we're waiting, Adam, for that final confirmation on whether Bryce Terang does appear in the lineup for tonight. But say he does, how much does that change the lineup? Is his value underrated nationally?
I mean, he's the Brewers' best hitter, I would say. Sorry, maybe Jake Bauers has a good case. Bauers has been unbelievable this year, and what an emergence in a free agent year, and a year where the Brewers lately, the last couple of months, are getting very little from Christian Yelich and William Contreras offensively, although they'll point to stuff that they liked. Contreras, the homer, a little more obvious. Yelich, it's more kind of underlying stuff, fly balls to the wall and left. Those are the kinds of things that Pat Murphy and the hitting coaches will look to as good signs that don't show up in the box score. But overall, they're getting so little production that they've had to drop both of those guys down to the bottom half of the order. And where would they be without Jake Bauers? But anyway, Bryce Terang is easily one of their most best all-around players. What he does on the defense, and now what he's emerged as offensively makes him one of the best players on the team, an all-star snub, and all that stuff. So getting him back would be a very big deal. But this is like tendonitis. And, this is one of those injuries, pro sports injuries, that a lot of us ham and eggers can, have experienced ourselves. If anyone's had like tennis elbow or something in your tendonitis in your ankle or something, like, it's brutal and it lingers forever and ever and ever. So they really want to knock this out and not have it be something that hampers him in September, October, when it really matters that they have a productive Bryce Terang in the lineup. So I think that's part of the thinking now. Could he have played one of these games in LA? Probably. But you want to try to knock that out as much as possible before he starts getting back in these ball games, because you don't want this. He's going to get treatment for it the rest of the year, no doubt. But you don't want it to be something that slows him down the rest of the year.
Adam, I'm trying to compute the significance of the Brewers beating the Dodgers 3 out of 4 times, especially with the lineup featuring players in unique positions and players we had never heard of prior to the series beginning. Brewers had great success against the Dodgers last year, and it seems like the Dodgers, all of their injury woes, well, they were corrected and sorted out by the time the playoffs began, and nobody was beating them. Their pitching was unbelievable. They hit everything. Like, they just were fantastic. I feel like the Dodgers have the ability to stash Cy Young Award winners, and they come back when the postseason begins. So while it seemed important, I'm trying to figure out just how impactful or potentially significant beating the Dodgers really was.
Well, I think it's one of those things where you can assign whatever significance to it you want, because last year they went 6-0 against the Dodgers in the regular season, and we all saw what happened in the NLCS. So it matters. To me, it matters in the sense of having one of these top two records in the National League is a huge deal, because the wild card round, and we saw it, nobody wants to talk about Pete Alonso here anymore, because it's an example of just crazy things happen in a 3-game series that it's not the best team that goes through. So if you can avoid that, then you go to the slightly less craziness of a 5-game series. That's a huge deal. And by winning that series, they not only stayed ahead of the Dodgers and the Braves and the Cubs in the overall National League standings, but they took the season series from the Dodgers, meaning if the teams tie at the end, the Brewers get the higher seed. So Murphy used a naughty word when I asked about that after the game, because he doesn't want to talk about those things, but that matters a lot when you start looking at the standings. But, you're right, Greg, that the Dodgers are 8 up on the Padres. They are not playing life and death baseball. Everything for them is getting themselves where they want to be for October. So Edwin Diaz is really struggling as their big money closer. He blows it the first night of the Brewers series. Then when there's a save opportunity, a day or 2 days later, he's back on the mound. The Brewers maybe don't do that. The Brewers, they can't afford to make that decision and take that risk. The Dodgers can. So they did, because the risk of losing that game is less than the benefit of having Edwin Diaz get himself right again. And he only gets right if he goes out and pitches. So he did, and the Brewers, he tried to give it away, and it didn't work. The Brewers lost that game, and Diaz hung on. But it was an example of the way the Dodgers are just thinking long-term. They're thinking already about October and making decisions like that. So a little different for the Brewers when they got the Cubs bearing down on them. And again, the importance of having one of those top 2 seeds is just critically important for this club when you have one guy you need on the mound for game 1. And everything relies on getting that Jacob Mizorowski lined up just right for the start of the postseason and see how far he can carry you.
Adam, you mentioned a naughty word before. This headline does not have a naughty word in it, but it is a rough headline. It just came down. It's from a national outlet about 45 minutes ago. It says, Brewers Christian Yelich ripped for being nothing more than a statue amid struggles. I read that and I thought, ooh, that is tough. How would you describe what we have seen out of Christian Yelich? Because you know what we can see from Yelich. What have you witnessed this season, and what's your takeaway?
That he is really, really struggling. That he is maybe having one of the worst stretches of this great tenure with the Brewers. And he's had tough times where the back acts up and he's trying to play through that, and times where he's hurt and has to go down. I don't think we've seen a stretch where, by all accounts, he's healthy and he's been this level of production, meaning as low as it is. And look, it's the same for William Contreras. Those are 2 players the Brewers count on to be really tough outs at the top of the lineup. And, even if it doesn't always have to be a hit, especially with Christian Yelich, he is such an elite base runner that just his on base makes him incredibly valuable to the Brewers. And even at times where he's not been hitting, he's typically gone on base. And he is just in a stretch right now where that is not happening. Now, we've asked Pat Murphy about this for both players a million times. And Pat Murphy's answer is players like that have to play through it in order to get back. In his view, a break, especially for William Contreras, is not the way to get him out of it. Just knowing the players the way Pat Murphy does. So he wants to continue to let these guys play through it. Now, we have seen with Yelich a few more days off, I think, lately, when they faced a lefty, say Tarek Skubal on Sunday. They gave Yelich a breather. So I think, though, he's just going to have to play through it. And Murph's view of that is to get to where they want to go, which is a championship parade down Wisconsin Avenue. Christian Yelich has to be part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have a deep lineup like the Dodgers where they've got Kyle Tucker doing a lot less than Christian Yelich right now. Maybe the Dodgers can afford to sit Kyle Tucker for 5 days and see what that does. the Brewers can't get to where they want to go without Christian Yelich being a big part of this offense. So they have to just continue to fight through it. And we talked to him about it in LA at length the other day, and it's up there on the site somewhere. But, his thought, too, is just he doesn't know what else to do except continue to work as hard as he can work. And you see him nonstop with Daniel Vogelbach. You see him in the clubhouse with a bat in his hand or sometimes not in his hand, just, practicing his stride, practicing his weight shift, all the stuff that goes into a swing. He's right there in the clubhouse doing it. He's thinking about it 24 hours a day right now. So I don't know what to say other than I don't see a scenario in which the Brewers win the World Series without a good Christian Yelich. So they need to figure out how to get him to that point. And right now they think it's just to play through it.
Brewers begin the day 29 games above 500, best record in baseball, but the Cubs are lurking 4.5 games back right now. And the Cubs and Brewers will face each other 7 more times before the season comes to an end. Adam McCalvey for Brewers.com joining us. He'll be at the ballpark tonight. Brewers take on the Mariners. Always appreciate it, Adam. Thank you.
Great stuff.
All right. See you guys soon.
You bet. It's 12:50 here on WTMJ. Our coverage of Brewers baseball begins tonight at 6:05.
Looking to build or remodel? Then the 80th MBA Parade of Homes is where your vision begins. Explore 17 extraordinary homes in 2 locations, Quietwood in Menominee Falls and the Snyder Farm in Oconomowoc. Each home showcases premium craftsmanship and design shaped for the way you want to live. Walk through spaces that spark ideas, elevate expectations, and inspire your next chapter. The parade runs August 15th through September 7th. For tickets and locations, visit mbaparadeofhomes.com.
Well, the folks at Gruber Law Offices want you to know if you've been hurt in an accident, they got your back. They'll fight your legal battle while you focus on healing. Greg Matzik here. It really is just a one-call, that's-all situation with Gruber. Make the call to Gruber if you've been hurt in an accident. Connect with their incredibly powerful team right here in the state of Wisconsin, supporting those, winning their cases, and also finding 2 ways to give back to the community. All part of how they make a difference and how they've been making a difference in this community for 40 years. It's locally known and nationally recognized Gruber. Visit them online at gruber-law.com. Learn about the firm, what they do in the community, and how they can fight your legal battle for you. Check them out, 414-276-6666.
It's Mike with Infinity Exteriors. I've seen it all, Wisconsin. Sketchy sales gimmicks for low-quality windows, siding that costs more than a new home, fly-by-night roofers. 60,000 happy customers made a better choice. Infinity Exteriors roofing, siding, and windows all come with our lifetime workmanship warranty, no overcharges, and transparent pricing. At Infinity Exteriors, we're on a mission to save our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Every child deserves someone who won't give up on them. That's what LaCouse's treatment foster care program provides.
She just made me feel like I could breathe. At the end of the phone call, she said, "I love you." And I'm like, you don't even know me, but I felt like she did love me. It just let me know everything's gonna be okay. Like everything is gonna be okay.
One caring adult can change a child's life. Learn how you can become a foster parent with LaCousa at lacousa.org.
See Europe from a completely new perspective with Fox World Travel and Avalon Waterways. Cruising down legendary rivers like the Danube or the Rhine, your luxury boutique hotel travels with you. Relax in award-winning panorama suites featuring wall-to-wall windows, enjoy premium local wine and dining, and step off directly into the heart of historic castles and villages. Your next incredible river cruise awaits. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO or visit foxworldtravel.com today.
I'm Vince Vetrano, joined today by Dr. Corey Casper from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
What's good for an airman is going to be, I think, good for the folks in Wisconsin as well. You don't have to be an athlete to come seek care from a sports medicine physician. It can just be getting back to moving and doing the things that you love to do, whether it be your job or gardening or playing pickleball or going for runs. My goal is just to get you back moving comfortably.
Get started online now at orthowisconsin.com.
Keeping an eye on the radar here. There is some rain on the radar. It appears western Wisconsin, moving out of Dubuque, Iowa, into the western part of the state, Platteville, and so on. Another line of storms, kind of a cluster near central Wisconsin, moving its way in from Minnesota. So if this comes together, a decent chance we'll get wet here in southeastern Wisconsin, but feels like a lot of things need to happen for that to happen. We'll keep an eye on it. Lauren Larson joins us coming up at about 1:35 today with the latest. We'll be tracking the weather here. Little muggy today, 82 the high, overnight low 66. Wednesday and Thursday, plenty of sun with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. 74, partly cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:54.
The Department of Natural Resources just confirmed Wisconsin's first cases of EHD in wild deer this year. 2 deer were found dead in Washington County, and then they started testing for this. So they found one near Richfield, the other in West Bend. The deer tested positive after people reported a cluster of healthy-looking deer die near water. I did reach out to the Department of Natural Resources just to ask, okay, what exactly does cluster mean? How many are we talking about here? And she did get back to me right before the show, Erin Larson, and she says, we're receiving reports every day and are still calculating totals, but we are likely over 100 dead deer reports so far from the southern Washington County area. More than 100 dead deer. So here's the deal. If you're not familiar with EHD, and I wasn't, so I was looking into it, it's a disease that's spread by tiny biting flies called midges. Ugh. Midges, and it's not deer-to-deer contact. It is a serious, often fatal disease, but according to the DNR, it does not infect humans or pose a public health risk. Outbreaks typically happen from August through October and usually end with the first hard frost. But if you see a sick deer or one found dead near water, the DNR wants you to report it. So go online, report it, or give them a call, but bottom line, report it.
That is gross. That is gross. It was kind of on the same site it cannot be contracted by humans, which is good to know here. More on this coming up. It's 12:56 on WTMJ.
988 Wisconsin Lifeline. How can I help you?
Share hope, find purpose when you become a 988 Lifeline counselor. The 988 Wisconsin Lifeline provides free and confidential support to anyone in crisis. 988 has experienced tremendous growth and more statewide counselors are needed. Staffed by Family Services, 988 counselors work remotely, are offered flexible hours, competitive compensation, benefits, and training. Apply today at 988lifelinecounselor.org. Family Services is an equal opportunity employer.
Paid for by grants from SAMHSA and the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Well, Siding Unlimited is the best in the United States. Been telling you about them for over a decade now, and I can attest. The work they've done in my house, second to none. Beautiful. Siding installed about 10 years ago. LP Smart Side, the product, installed by Siding Unlimited. No color fading, no warping. Everything looks perfect. Was pressure washing a bit of the house the other day, and I couldn't believe the condition of our house. A great product installed by the wonderful experts at Siding Unlimited. Best in the U.S.? Well, it's not just me saying that. It's other manufacturers of these fine quality products. For example, Pella has recognized Siding Unlimited for the 5th time as their National Pella Platinum Premier Certified Contractor of the Year. That is incredible. It means this: nobody installs the Pella product better than Siding Unlimited. Amazing. Right here in southeastern Wisconsin, ready to go to work for you in all sorts of ways to beautify your home's exterior and protect it against whatever Mother Nature throws its way. Check out Siding Unlimited, family-owned business right here in southeastern Wisconsin. Visit sidingunlimited.com.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on August 18th.
Uh-oh. Curio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Seattle Mariners.
Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in August 18th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
For the brave men and women of our United States military, it's been said, some gave all, but all gave some. Here at Tabak Law, we honor these sacrifices by working to ensure veterans receive the benefits they're entitled to. I'm Jim Brzezinski, partner and VA-accredited representative at Tabak Law. If you're a vet and have been wrongfully denied or feel that your condition was not properly evaluated by the VA, visit tabakattorneys.com to set up a free evaluation. At Tabak Law, we fight for those who fought for us. Contact Tabak for the payback. tabakattorneys.com.
Enjoy life at Capri Communities, where senior living's our expertise. Caring staff that help you when you need. Enjoy life at Capri, making friends and memories. Living life to the fullest, you will love your new home. Enjoy life at Capri Communities.
How do we keep our prices so low? That's easy. We've removed the middlemen. Yep, most landscape suppliers have a couple of them in there, and that's okay. But each one of those men in the middle means a higher cost for your mulch, decorative stone, flagstone, and boulders. Feel free to check around. For the quality of our products, you won't find better prices. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. You know, most mulch is reclaimed from landfills, but Erickson's mulch is ground from whole trees. Yep, we process the mulch ourselves to keep the prices nice and low, and use only premium colorant so the beautiful look of new mulch lasts. At Erickson's, we never skimp, and that's why first-time shoppers become repeat customers. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Save now during the Ken Michaels Furniture Labor Day sale.
The tide's turning in Milwaukee. The Mariners are in town. But in these waters, the Crew runs the ship.
Henderson kicks, delivers, and a swing and a miss. Oh, what a nasty changeup. Down and away from Henderson. And Ohtani just casting his bat hopelessly.
The Brewers take on the Mariners tonight at American Family Field. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts at 6:05 on the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 1 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Tuesday, August 18th. Your top story. 2 men found dead inside a Milwaukee music studio, identified.
I'm Jessica Ty. Concerns continue for sailors on board a U.S. Navy ship.
Partly cloudy, humid today, high 81. Chance of afternoon and evening showers and storms. Then partly cloudy tonight at a low of 64. 75 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 101. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, 2 men found dead inside a Milwaukee music studio, identified.
The Milwaukee medical examiners have identified the victims as 33-year-old Quentin Williams and 21-year-old DeQuayshawn Evans. Williams has been identified by family as a rapper and music producer known as Funny Money. Both were allegedly shot to death in the music studio near 31st Street and Cameron Avenue. A 28-year-old is in custody. The circumstances leading up to the shooting are unknown. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
The man accused of a deadly shooting spree in Milwaukee this month makes his first court appearance.
Thomas Zollicoffer's cash bond was set at $1 million. He faces 3 counts of first-degree intentional homicide and 4 counts of possessing a firearm as a convicted felon. Prosecutors say he killed 26-year-old Vanessa De Herrera and 29-year-old Scott Buchholz near 21st and Pierce on August 8th. About 20 minutes later, prosecutors say he killed 39-year-old Shamar Lahair near 39th and Townsend. Zollicoffer was arrested last week after a standoff, along with his cousin Elena Cole, who was charged with harboring a felon and 3 counts of child neglect. Zollicoffer's next appearance in court is next Monday. Nazir Spencer, WTMJ News.
Families and sailors raising concerns about conditions aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, prompting President Donald Trump to call for its deployment in the Middle East to be switched with the arrival of the USS George Washington later this week. Armed Services Committee Senator Jack Reed.
And we've heard very reliable stories about malfunctioning laboratories, no hot water, poor meals, etc., and also stories about several sailors who attempted to take their lives.
It's unclear if the Lincoln will return to the United States immediately when it's relieved. Lincoln has been at sea for about 240 days without a port call.
Iran's top negotiator says the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump insists the strait is open and safe. News Nation's Robert Sherman.
The president says that talks with Iran have hit a standstill and aren't happening. This was a statement that he released saying there are no talks or conversations going on or scheduled with the Islamic Republic of Iran. The naval blockade remains in full force in effect. The Hormuz Strait is open and operating. All water mines have been removed or detonated. 2 attacks, both of them happened off of the coast of Oman, according to British maritime trade officials, within the last 24 hours. Each of those incidents resulted in casualties, showing that this pressure and this tension still exists in those waterways.
The negotiated 60-day ceasefire ended on Monday.
And a Trump administration rule seeking to exclude gender-affirming care under the Affordable Care Act is struck down.
A U.S. district court ruled that gender-affirming care must still be covered under the Affordable Care Act.
The ruling said that Trump's marketplace integrity and affordability rule unlawfully changed the essential health benefit categories and did not follow procedures required by the ACA. Wisconsin is part of the multi-state lawsuit that challenged the rule, arguing it would make it harder for consumers to get coverage, weaken ACA protections, and increase costs for states. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Things getting a little worse here with the Dow off about 120 points at 53,342. NASDAQ now down about 350 points at 26,302. And the S&P 500 off about 50 at 7696. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite, financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
Injury updates straight ahead. Sports, traffic, and weather right after this. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:05.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. You've gotten really good at living with that joint pain, haven't you? When the knees or the hips are screaming, you shift your weight. When the shoulders are stiff, you skip those workouts. When the back acts up, you try a new sleeping position. And when it comes to kneeling, well, forget about it. You may be told you need surgery, but before you make that decision, get a second opinion from QC Kinetics. There's no undo button from surgery, especially a replacement. Call QC Kinetics to learn about its regenerative treatments. No scalpel and long recovery, just your body's natural healing process that may help some patients totally avoid surgery. The time is now. You can set up a free consultation and you can explore your options. Call 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. Call QC Kinetics and find out what they can do for you. Find out how to live joint pain free. Call QC Kinetics today.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports desk. Brewers begin a 6-game homestand tonight against the Seattle Mariners. Pat Murphy with an injury update on Bryce Terang and Sal Frelick.
I think you'll see Bryce give it a go. You know, he's nurturing some pretty sore ankle and a pretty sore knee. But I think, this rest he's going to try it this week. Sal, I think, is a little further away. He's got to make sure that his shoulder is strong enough to withstand the day-to-day of the big leagues.
Shortstop Cooper Pratt expected to begin a rehab assignment tonight. Coverage of tonight's game in Milwaukee begins at 6:05. At Packers camp, second-round draft pick Brandon Cisse continues to rotate in with the number 1 defense, pushing fellow cornerbacks like Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine. It's all part of the plan, according to Packers GM Brian Gutekunst.
Sometimes you're going to want to see a younger player go against better receivers to see how they do, and you're just moving guys around to kind of see how that works. So we're in that phase and just trying to get as much information on these guys as we can before we get to the regular season.
The Packers continue the preseason Friday night in Denver against the Broncos.
Well, I'm sorry I said it, Greg. I thought twice about it, too, before I said it. I said this Tuesday is looking pretty good on the roads. It's really nice.
Kiss of death, huh?
Yep, and just like that, now we have 2 crashes. I knew I shouldn't have said it. Okay, so what we have here going on right now, this is in Milwaukee County, and they're pretty close to each other. We have a crash on the ramp from Capitol Drive to 4145 North. If you drive that stretch, you know how busy that stretch is. So we've got 1 crash on the ramp from Capitol Drive to 4145 North. Avoid that area. Do not take that ramp. And then just a little bit a ways from that, 4145 North at the ramp from Burleigh Street. The right shoulder is blocked there due to a crash, and I am seeing the backups. Yeah, they're getting longer and longer. And the other problem there is that's a construction zone. So you have the construction barrels out there, and I am taking note that emergency responders are already out at that one. So there's some good news there just to kind of get the ball rolling on that. 4145 north at the ramp from Burleigh Street, right shoulder blocked due to a crash, and not far from that, another crash on the ramp from Capitol to 4145 north.
Partly cloudy, humid today. Chance of late afternoon and evening showers and storms. Some stuff popping up on the radar here. Now moving toward Janesville area. Central Wisconsin starting to encroach in on you. If it stays together, we could get wet here in southeastern Wisconsin. Lauren Larson joins us coming up in about 30 minutes. We'll track it all with her. Storms ending eventually, should the rain come, tonight with a low of 64. Sun returns on Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday's high is 78 degrees. Thursday with a high of 80. 75 right now in Milwaukee at 110.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
10 after 1 on a Tuesday here. Rain could be on the way in about 25 minutes. We'll get an update. Hopefully it sort of dissolves and moves around here. Maybe some people need a little bit of rain. I actually think my lawn is doing quite well for whatever reason.
Oh, good.
So I'm thankful for that.
Some spots are a little brown around town.
Yeah, I definitely. Did you notice that kind of stuff living downtown? Right, I'm more out in the burbs, and I don't know. Do you get a sense of that when you live downtown? Boy, it's really dry out.
Yeah, and also, too, sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes you go out to the burbs. Hasn't been the case necessarily recently, but sometimes you go to the burbs and say, wow, it's so lush. It's so green.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about the peppers and the herbs looking. Like, I have to go water them today.
Yeah.
I've got to water them a little bit today because even if it rains, that rain might not hit downtown. But yeah, got to worry about the lawns, got to worry about your flowers and the shrubs and maybe the pepper plants, too.
It's 1:11.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1. As kids head back to school, the CDC says the rate of vaccine exemptions for American kindergartners has reached a record high. We'll dive into the Wisconsin numbers in just a minute, but first, Rhiannon Alley with a look at the nation.
Most exemptions are actually non-medical reasons, such as religious exemptions. And it comes as the country is dealing with a record-breaking year for measles cases. In the last 35 years, the CDC says the percentage of kindergartners getting the MMR vaccine, which protects against measles, mumps, and rubella, slipped to 92.4%. And that is below the 95% experts say is needed to maintain that herd immunity.
I dug into the CDC data to see how Wisconsin compares to the national numbers. And here in the Badger State, only 85% of kindergartners got the MMR vaccine during the latest school year. That is well below the rate for herd immunity against measles. I also checked out exemptions. Here in Wisconsin, 8% of kindergartners had an exemption from at least one required vaccine. That is more than double the national rate. That surprised me. And more than 7% of those exemptions here in Wisconsin were for non-medical reasons.
Well, number 2, builders are feeling the pressure of stubbornly high interest rates. The Census Bureau reporting a dramatic drop in housing starts.
No region of the country was spared the bad news, but the Northeast saw the steepest drop. Housing starts last month fell 9.9% compared to June and nearly 16% below July of last year. The average 30-year fixed mortgage stands at 6.68%, slightly lower than its 2026 peak.
It's ABC's Jim Ryan. So a familiar story here, but I was curious what this meant for Wisconsin. Boy, you live out where I'm living, it seems like there's a lot of building happening, right? And there's room to do it. In Wisconsin, new home construction has shown a little more stability as compared to the sharp national downturn. So national housing starts plummeted about 12.5%, but figures released by the Wisconsin Builders Association show that statewide single-family building permits actually edged up about 1.5% during the first half of 2026. So I guess it doesn't really reflect what's happening nationally, but maybe some positive signs here in the state of Wisconsin. Still expensive to build a house, to buy a house, whatever the case may be.
No
Material
doubt.
costs are up. I mean, everything is up. Cost of a lot is up, for goodness sake.
What isn't up right now? That's the big question.
Bananas? I feel like they've held stable
They are pretty low, I'll
Right.
give you that, but I don't know. I don't know if they've dropped.
It's kind of my stock answer right now. Inventory is still, it's a big problem here in southeastern Wisconsin, but I thought that number was kind of interesting. New housing starts actually up a little over a percentage point in the first half of 2026.
Number 3, American Airlines is making a U-turn at 35,000 feet. After spending years removing seat-back screens from many of its planes, today the airline announced they're coming back. The move is part of a bigger plan to add more premium seats and compete more aggressively with Delta Airlines and United Airlines. In a nutshell, American is starting to invest more heavily in the overall passenger experience. They used to encourage passengers to use their own phones and tablets for entertainment, and sometimes people like doing that. But I know sometimes I don't want to worry about the battery. I don't want to worry about, do I have a movie uploaded on my phone? I just like to have that seatback screen. How about you?
One of the many reasons I prefer Delta is because I think their in-flight entertainment is better than any of the other major carriers. And I don't think it's close. I mean, Delta's way ahead. And commonly, you've got that little TV screen right in the back of the headrest of whoever's sitting in front of you. And you got a ton of options, right? To your point, I don't want to use my own device. And that was the case on Southwest and forever on American. And it was a bit of a detractor. I think the overall flight experience in Delta is better than the rest in this area specifically.
So they are definitely trying to compete with Delta and United, and now they're reversing course. But passengers, well, you're going to have to wait a little bit here. American says it expects the first new screens to come in 2028, with new deliveries from Boeing as well as Airbus.
It is 1:15 on WTMJ, a 1 week removed from the primary and less than 3 months away from the election. What do the candidates have to do to earn the undecided votes? We'll check in with TMJ4 Political Director Charles Benson after this.
Get your final August plans in for Brewers Rangers Action Friday, August 28th through Sunday the 30th. Starting with the Cole Swindell post-game concert at Country Music Night on Friday, featuring a belt buckle with a special ticket. Then it's Jackson Churio Mania. Get the Churio Bowl giveaway Saturday, courtesy of 620 WTMJ. And get it on the Final Kids Cheer Free Sunday before summer ends. Kids get a Churio Height poster on Sunday, courtesy of Joy. Get tickets for it all at brewers.com.
For 70 years, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in the state of Wisconsin. Greg Matzik here. If you got a busted garage door, don't let it get you down. My friends at Geis are ready to go to work for you with brands like CHI and LiftMaster in stock and ready to go. Doors for every budget, openers as well. They'll even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. That is full and complete service from Geis. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, check out GeisDoors.com. The showroom is located in Brookfield, right off Barker Road. You will see the inventory. You'll meet the great people. You'll see that great custom design area. You'll learn all the different ways Geis can help you. Don't think twice. Call Geis and visit GeisDoors.com.
For more than a century, Curative Care has been helping children, adults, and families across southeast Wisconsin navigate developmental disabilities and find the support they need to thrive. Curative helps families every step of the way, from early childhood through adulthood, connecting parents with resources, providing guidance during challenging times, and creating a community where people truly belong. If you know someone who may be looking for answers and support for a loved one with developmental disabilities, visit curative.org today.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, J.D. Griffith's Garage Door. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Rain possible this afternoon and evening. Some rumbles of thunder possible with that. We'll check in with Lauren Larson coming up in about 20 minutes. High of 81, more on the muggy side today as compared to yesterday. Sun returns on Wednesday and Thursday with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, maybe touching 80 on Thursday. 75 right now, cloudy in Milwaukee at 118. Well, it was 1 week ago. The polls were open. The votes were being cast to determine the names on the ballot for governor on November's general election in Wisconsin. And here we are now, less than 3 months from Election Day. Recent polling suggests David Crowley holds a slight 4-point lead over Republican Tom Tiffany. TMJ4 Chief Political Reporter Charles Benson joins us as we are under the 3-month clock here leading up to the election. Hey, Charles.
Yeah, think about that. I think we're 11 weeks from today until that election, and we're 6 weeks until the regular season ends in baseball. Which one do you think will be more fun to cover?
Right. Well, I know the advertising around baseball's postseason will be more entertaining to watch than what I can expect here for the political side of things. And what do you take from the first round of polling? Is there really anything to pull that David Crowley has a minor lead or advantage over Tom Tiffany at this point?
Well, I think a couple things jumped out about that. David Crowley found himself in a position where he had not been in previous polls, and that is having a front-runner status. So I think that was kind of interesting. I think it falls within the margin of that poll. It was a sample of about 500. So it gives us a snapshot. I think a lot of people were focusing on the head-to-head, but my take on this election and this race is that I think the Democrats are going to line up on the Democratic side. The Republicans will line up on the Republican side. And where do the independents stand? And when you dig into that poll, when you look at where the independents were, David Crowley's lead is much larger. And so I think that's where the race is going to be won and fought over where those independents, are they movable or will they change? How will they influence the outcome of this? Because I do think that both candidates represent their party well in terms of the issues that are important to each side of the political aisle. And so the independents are going to be the ones that say, well, who do I want this time? It's been since 2010 since we had really an open seat for governor. And so I think voters will be pretty in tune to this race as we get closer to November 3rd.
Charles, the Democratic primary got national attention. It is really a test of the progressive movement. I was just I like to listen to this podcast called The Daily on the weekends when I'm getting ready, and they had their podcast. It was, are the Democratic Socialists winning or losing? And I'm wondering, did David Crowley's win settle that debate, or is the party still divided?
I don't think it settled it nationally because I think there's different candidates all over the country that did well in that category and didn't. I think that the national attention here was because there has been this wave around the Democratic Socialists of America, and so because Francesca Hong was leading in the polls, that story started to generate more national headlines because it started fitting more of a national narrative. I think the U.S. Senate race, which is big in a number of states, including our neighbors to the east in Michigan, those U.S. Senate races tend to get more attention because the balance of the U.S. Senate could be up for grabs. So I think our governor's race may not get as much attention, but it always is a state to watch and follow because we are a battleground. Things tend to be close. So I think there'll be some newsworthiness coming out of Wisconsin, but not as much as you would see in a U.S. Senate. And the other key part of that is maybe not as much money. We've seen that, right? We know what it likes when we're the national attention. We've seen it in those state Supreme Court races where there was over $100 million spent because outside groups, the national interest on the outcome of a state Supreme Court race, the balance of that, became a big political issue with Elon Musk, George Soros, and others. I don't see that happening in this particular race for the governor. Having said that, there's more on the line for November 3rd than just who's going to be the governor. The state Senate and the state Assembly could be in play here. The Republicans have held on to that for the last 15 years.
So I want to use a local example here of a point that I think is going to be very interesting to see how the candidates position themselves for or against. They're going to use Port Washington and the data center explosion in the state of Wisconsin. At the local level, that seems to be a dividing line. Some are for it, some are against it. How much are we going to hear about data centers over the next 3 months here, Charles?
I think you already are. So data centers is one of the issues, right? I think Tiffany calls them data center David, right? Data center David Crowley, and I think on the opposite side, they might be using some term toxic Tom Tiffany, So I think the data centers are going to be playing into this debate. I watched that on election night in the primary. Now, we had a Democratic primary, Republican primary, and the biggest contest was on the Democratic side. David Crowley won Ozaukee County by a bigger margin than what he did in Milwaukee County. And I'm not going to call it the data center turnout or that was the issue, but if you were to draw an area of, where that would have played bigger, it would have been in Ozaukee County. And Hong had been the most outspoken about it with the, putting a hold on these data centers. And she lost in Ozaukee County. I don't know what that says about the debate in Port Washington in terms of how people weighed that in terms of their final vote, but it was an interesting take, anecdotal for me, on that Ozaukee County went to David Crowley on the Democratic side.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Charles, because I was curious. You've covered Wisconsin politics for decades now. Was there a result or a trend or maybe even a county that made you do a double take that you were really surprised about?
Not really, because it's hard in the primaries, right? It's because it's just Democrats on one side, Republicans on another, and you don't know where those independents are. Crowley, though, county executive, Milwaukee County, twice elected. It is his home town, home field advantage, but he narrowly wins Milwaukee County. He doesn't get a big number in a crowded primary field. Now, Joel Brennan got some of that, Kelda Royce, and certainly Francesca Hong. But it will be a county I will watch on election night, because Ozaukee used to be part of what is known as the WOW counties, Waukesha, Ozaukee, and Washington. 3 pretty good Republican counties that Republicans would try to run up the score to try to balance some of those votes coming out of Dane and Milwaukee counties. Now that's not the case anymore. It's really moved into a 50-50, and I think it will be a sign of, if you're carrying Ozaukee County now, is that the sign that says you've got a good chance of taking the state? That's what I'll be watching. The other thing I noticed on election night, David Crowley, I think he wins about 50 counties statewide. He wins pretty good up there in the north part of the state and the western side. And so I think Francesca Hong ended up with about 20 counties. The closest one in our area, she carried Kenosha County.
So it'll be very interesting to watch here as we hurtle toward Election Day, November 3rd, about 11 weeks away. We'll continue our check-ins with Chief Political Reporter for TMJ4 News, Charles Benson. Always great insight, Charles. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Yep, you too. It's 1:26 here on WTMJ.
Summer is the time to enjoy the outside. Enjoy the deck, the patio, the fire pit, the shade, the screen room, the in-ground pool. Enjoy all of it in your own backyard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's top TimberTech decking installer and can deliver a design and build your next maintenance-free deck with a custom screen room and automated pergola. Stop by our Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom at 665 Larry Court in Waukesha or visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Well, the story of Horicon Bank is an amazing story. 130 years of doing business right, doing banking differently in the state of Wisconsin. First opening its doors in 1896 in the town of Horicon. Well, Horicon Bank is still opening doors in areas of southeastern Wisconsin, such as New Berlin and Wauwatosa, Menominee Falls and Grafton, even West Bend. Still together doing good and still doing it 130 years later. Connect with Horicon Bank to get that business of yours off the ground and meeting its cash flow objectives. Maybe get that first savings or checking account for a loved one off and running. Horicon Bank will help you through the process. Secure a loan, you name it. You do it right, you do it with Horicon Bank. Everything about Horicon Bank is local. It is Wisconsin. Visit horiconbank.com. Member FDIC.
Many people feeling close to retirement ask themselves, do I have enough?
Am I missing something?
At Diversified Wealth Strategies, we provide clarity during our complimentary, no-pressure consultation. We're independent advisors using big firm tools with a boutique-style approach.
And no crickets. We stay in touch so you're never left wondering.
At Diversified Wealth Strategies, let us show you how to capture the upside, limit the downside, and feel good inside.
Visit dwstrategies.com.
Securities and investment services offered through Mosaic Wealth Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Mosaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Mosaic Wealth.
Son, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And eat pizza.
Preferably a Marty's Pizza, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we do everything we can to keep the prices low. We're a family-run business, and many of our employees have families. I want to make sure that as tight as it gets, a growing family can always afford to enjoy a Marty's Pizza.
Marty's Pizza in Delafield.
And martyspizza.net for easy online ordering.
Register online for Red Card Loyalty, and after 15 pizzas, you'll get your next one free!
Marty's Pizza. Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past. It doesn't get any better than
your home ready for summer, you cleaned the floors, but they still don't look nice. Vince Vitrano for Hunt's Flooring in Greenfield. Carpet worn, floors scratched up, vinyl dated. Let's get my team from Hunt's to upgrade and replace. The compliments will come all summer long. Happened to my house since we got real hardwood installed at a great price from Hunt's. Hunt's Flooring works efficiently, keeps turnaround times quick, so you're not stuck in a long project. Tell them Vinny sent you. Stop out at Highway 100 in Greenfield or get started at huntsflooring.com. Vince Vitrano here with your HVAC guy, Urban Heating and Cooling. How much longer does that furnace have? Question to ask my man Ryan. His family-owned business with his wife Ellie, based in Franklin. They serve all of southeast Wisconsin. Now, what Ryan most wants to do is help you get as much life out of that furnace that you've already got. But when you have him in for a tune-up, now he can give you an honest assessment on how much longer that older unit will hold out. Free estimate is always part of the deal, so you know it will fit your budget. Tell them Vinny sent you when you call urbanheatingandcooling.com.
The new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. Exclusively available at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power comparison between AP300PC and AP300S.
Save now during the Ken Michaels Furniture Labor Day sale.
It's 1:30. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. Your top story, a man in Tosa found dead.
I'm Jessica Ty. An AI tech giant drops a Wisconsin lawsuit.
Partly cloudy, humid today. Chance of evening storms are possible. High of 81. Eventually, partly cloudy at a low of 64. It's currently 75 in Milwaukee.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Talks between the U.S. and Iran are off, and both sides are ramping up the rhetoric over the Strait of Hormuz. Each side says blockades remain in place. ABC News contributor and former U.S. ambassador to NATO, Doug Lute, says the U.S. has few options.
The options are escalate and try to convince the other side that we can induce pain that is intolerable. And of course, Iran holds that option as well. Negotiate, but there seems to be so little trust between the two parties now that seems unlikely.
Another round of severe storms targeting parts of the Midwest, still dealing with floodwaters from a week of storms. Crews in Indiana still assessing the damage as floodwaters recede. Extreme heat is a concern with triple-digit temperatures keeping its grip over western states and parts of the South. Bill Rasmussen, the co-founder of ESPN back in 1979, has died. Mike Soltis says the 93-year-old died at his Florida home. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time at 1:31. A 25-year-old man reported missing last week in Wauwatosa has been found dead. Brian Sanchez, last seen Friday, and his vehicle was found the following day near Underwood Parkway. Wauwatosa police announced Monday that Sanchez's body was located. No additional details have been released.
We now know the identity of the woman killed during a road rage incident in Milwaukee. The medical examiner's office tells us it was 44-year-old Minerva Lopez. Police say she was shot multiple times near 10th and Lapham yesterday afternoon. An 18-year-old woman is in custody.
Oracle is dropping its lawsuit against Wisconsin utility regulators over new rules designed to protect electric customers from data center costs.
Sued the Public Service Commission earlier this summer over requirements that some large data centers provide financial guarantees for their electricity needs. Oracle argued the rules could add $100 million in annual costs, but the tech giant has now voluntarily dismissed the lawsuit without much explanation. Oracle is involved in the planned $15 billion AI data center campus in Port Washington, which is expected to begin operations next year. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Milwaukee Public Schools are making a push to hire teachers before the school year begins.
The goal is to fill 50 educator vacancies before September 1st for MPS. The district says that's down from about 100 vacancies at this time last year, even as MPS has added teaching positions to help reduce class sizes. The district has held 66 recruiting events so far this year, including 11 career fairs at district schools and central services. Another 9 fairs are planned through the end of the year. The next one is this Thursday at the Tripoli Shrine Center, where licensed teachers can receive tentative job offers on the spot. Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
And the Milwaukee Bucks are seeing a bit of a surge in ticket sales after the schedule release about a week ago. Home opener is scheduled for October 23rd against the Bulls. One game already generating strong demand. That's the return of Giannis, with the Heat coming to Milwaukee on January 28th. Bucks president Josh Glessing.
Likely will sell out very early. We're going to welcome back a player that has meant a lot to us. And, you know, there's excitement around, I think, seeing our new look Milwaukee Bucks against any team, but that one's going to be special.
Milwaukee begins the regular season on the road against the Wizards October 21st.
I'm going to get the goosebumps when he comes back.
You're going to be in the stands for that game, aren't you?
That is going to be such a moment.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
Accident Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wicker, Chief Homebuyer Helper with Wisconsin's own Accident Mortgage. Nicer homes are still getting multiple offers over asking, and there's only one winner per listing. I want to help you be that winner, which is why I just increased the rock-solid pre-approval guarantee to $10,000. It's all about getting the seller to pick your offer over the others. So AccuNet is now guaranteeing in writing to pay the seller 10,000 American bucks if we can't make good on the terms of your fully verified rock-solid pre-approval. Banks don't do that. We're willing to stand behind our work and stand behind you with a $10,000 guarantee that sellers will definitely notice. Maybe you've been writing offers and losing, which feels terrible, or maybe you're just starting out. Either way, don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval and let someone else end up sleeping in your dream home. Give the seller 10,000 reasons to say yes to your offer with AccuNet's new $10,000 rock-solid seller guarantee. Get started with yours today at accunet.com.
I'm with Eric, Director of Research for Good Karma Brands. They have business technology from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Eric, what does partner mean to you?
Partner isn't just out for them. The partner cares about how we solve our problems, and it can be a mutually beneficial relationship from there on.
And I understand throughout the more than 15-year partnership between Good Karma Brands and James Imaging Systems, you have shared many core values.
Absolutely. Work hard, be honest, over-deliver, follow through, listen, teamwork.
Eric, summarize your overall business technology partnership with James Imaging Systems for me.
Outstanding. As we've grown tremendously and you guys have still been able to meet our needs each step of our growth, that's huge.
AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
The historic Fox & Hound Supper Club near Holy Hill is hiring experienced line cooks and dishwashers. You'll make real money. Night and weekend hours are required. Parents and grandparents, tell your kids. Inquire today, start next week. Google and call the Fox & Hounds today.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports desk. The Packers will begin the regular season with a newly arranged offensive line in front of Jordan Love, including Jordan Morgan at left tackle. General Manager Brian Gutekunst has high hopes for the former first-round pick.
He's going to have to go out and do it over a full season and year in and year out, but he's done a really nice job through the spring, really nice job so far. I'm looking forward to getting some more reps here in the preseason and then get ready for the regular season, but we think he's got a super bright future to be a really good player in this league.
Packers continue the preseason Friday night in Denver against the Broncos. Brewers take the field tonight against Seattle in Game 1 of a 3-game series. Milwaukee, 29 games above 500 with just over a month to go in the regular season.
But all in all, to have the best record in baseball this late in August is pretty surprising for anyone. Although we did it last year, still it's an amazing feat for these guys, the way they compete.
Manager Pat Murphy believes Bryce Terang could return to the lineup this week. Coverage of tonight's game begins at 6:05.
Let's get you an update on the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We're looking a little bit better. Some of our crashes have cleared. Still dealing with this one, though, in Milwaukee County. There's a crash on the ramp from Capitol Drive to 4145 North. That's a crash on the ramp from Capitol to 4145 North. The good news is I just pulled up the cameras to give you an update, and I do see that a tow truck is out there, and it looks like one of the cars is already up on that tow truck. A couple of the emergency responders have already left. In fact, one of the emergency responders just closed the hatch in the back, and it looks like that person will be getting out of here too. I'd say give this a couple minutes here, and this one will be clear as well. If not, a couple moments. That's 4145 at Capitol.
Well, trying to figure out if and when rain may disrupt our afternoon or evening plans, and there is some stuff showing up on the radar. Will it converge? Will it dissolve? Let's welcome in TMJ4 meteorologist Lauren Larson. You might be asking yourself the same question here, Lauren. It's not a giant line moving our direction, but there's definitely stuff on the radar.
Yeah, absolutely. Those were great meteorological terms. Will they converge?
Stuff.
Will it dissolve?
Oh, yeah,
those are good.
She was focusing on that. I knew you could tell us what the stuff was.
Yes, as far as the stuff, we are seeing some rain, a few lightning strikes out there right now, but quiet for southeast Wisconsin. Not seeing that on our radar just yet. It is moving a bit closer. I think we will, at least here on the lakeshore, see it around probably 3:30 to 5:30 is when I think it'll move in, depending on how quickly those are moving. The models kind of all over the place from this time yesterday to this morning to just the run that came in within the last hour. Looks a little bit different. That's why I love that you asked, will it converge? Because maybe it will, maybe it won't. That's kind of what we're thinking right now. I will say we have been updated to a level 2 slight risk. So that's new at noon, where we now are that level 2 out of 5, meaning a few of those storms could be strong to severe, mainly the threat for gusty winds and hail with these storms. There's no watches out, no warnings on anything right now. But that level 2 slight risk tells me it is something we need to pay a bit more attention to than maybe our wording this time yesterday.
Okay, so we're talking about the possibility of hail. Any idea on the size of that? And when we talk about the winds, like how quickly those winds are going to be rolling when we focus on the main hazards here?
Yeah, as far as hail, I don't think it's going to be monster mammoth hail. That's what I'm forecasting right now. And winds, thinking those wind gusts to maybe 65 miles per hour.
All right, well, that's healthy enough, right? You're going to have to move around some patio furniture. And get
any hail's
up.
bad, right?
Yeah,
but it's always
right.
nice to kind of have an idea.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, we're hitting that severe thunderstorm criteria for sure, but not, forecasting 80-mile-per-hour winds.
We've seen some rainstorms, especially to the south and in Indiana, where they just sort of sit and spin. Like, they just do not get out of that area for, roughly 24 hours. Anything that comes through today, is it likely to be coming through? It might hit us, but it's going to move out pretty quick?
Yeah, passing for sure. Not anticipating anything sitting and stalling. Right now, the model outputs as far as rainfall amounts are somewhere around a half an inch. A couple places where those storms maybe do sit a little bit longer could see up to an inch, but right now I'm not seeing anything higher than that.
And what about once we get past this tonight and then tomorrow? What are we looking at for the rest of the week here?
Well, that's when we have some good weather in store for us. Today, a little bit more humid and sticky with our dew points in the mid-60s, feeling like we could see some of those stronger thunderstorms here this evening. But then tomorrow, mostly sunny skies with temperatures in the mid-70s and lower dew points, going from dew points right now in the mid-60s to the mid-50s for tomorrow. Definitely comfortable. Same story for us on Thursday. On Friday, that humidity does creep back up just a little bit. High temperatures still only in the mid to upper 70s, though. We should be at 80 degrees for this time of year, and the next 7 days looks to be seasonable.
With this weather system that's potentially moving through our area, I can't help but think anytime rain is about to hit the Midwest, what they're dealing with in Indiana. I know they had some terrible flooding over the weekend, Lauren. A lot of the stuff that missed us hit them, and over the period of 36 hours or so, they had about 12 inches in some of the hardest hit areas. Are they going to be affected potentially by what could be affecting us?
I do think that it's going to stay farther north. We lucked out over the weekend with a lot of that rain, like you're talking about, staying south of us. And even think back to last week when we had those strong winds and heavy rain roll through Chicago 2 days in a row. I'm not saying Indiana's going to be completely dry here within the next couple days, but I don't think... Well, they're definitely not going to see the 12 inches of rain that they saw over the weekend. It won't be quite as impactful as that. They could see some scattered showers and thunderstorms, though.
Well, thank goodness. I know I was looking at the National Weather Service, their website. A lot of times I'll go on just to look at, instead of looking at our apps, as I know you guys always tell us, don't look at those apps. Look at the TMJ4 website or look at the National Weather Service instead. So a lot of times I'll go just when I'm looking at the temperature, especially reporting it here on the show, go to the National Weather Service to see what's going on. And a lot of times they have news headlines as well. And right now, when we talk about rain and what some of the other states, including Indiana, are dealing with, they have one of the news headlines is 1 year anniversary of that August 9th through the 10th Milwaukee Metro flood. And I think a lot of people were thinking about that as we wrapped up State Fair. I know I was thinking about that. I was there Saturday night. And nobody can forget that last day of the State Fair last year. But they've got a whole story on here, it looks like, and takes people through kind of an introduction as to what happened and the event by the numbers. It's pretty interesting. I know you won't forget that one.
No, definitely will never forget that night here at TMJ4. But like you're saying, people impacted at the state fair. I know as you're going to the fair or as you went to the fair, it just is, it's different. If you were there when you saw, the roads completely flooded and the videos we saw from people's cars, I wonder if they had left their sunroof open or something and they opened their car door and water just gushing out of it in the parking lot. Truly crazy to see. Once we passed that 1 year mark, like you said, about a week ago, I went back in our archived photos and videos and even from our reporting and seeing Megan Lee wading through water and Ashley Washburn coming back from the Packers game and her basement completely flooded. I don't think I at the time understood just how historic and impactful it was. And now being here for a whole year, and obviously we haven't seen 12 inches of rain any single day, is crazy to think about.
It's a good point you made about kind of how people might have thought differently when they were at the state fair this year, because I know I did. And actually, when I went with my husband then just for fun that last weekend, he actually made note of one of the entrances that you go in, that one where it's downhill and it's really, really low. He was like, isn't this the one that flooded so heavily? And yes, and indeed it was. And so if you saw those pictures of the people or the video of the people wading through that, I mean, that's now when you walk through that spot, you think about it at the state fair.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a rough patch of time. People still trying to figure their life out after the events of about a year ago. Lauren, thanks for the insight. We'll be tracking the weather here throughout the day and this evening. We'll check it again soon.
Thanks, Lauren.
Sounds good. Have a nice day.
Yep, you too. It's 1:45 on WTMJ. Coming up next, a pioneer in the world of sports television passes away.
Abby Windows. Have you been thinking about new windows? If you're having a hard time operating them, feeling air coming through, or feel your energy bills are too high, now is the time to call Abby Home. We're celebrating 16 years in business, so we're having our anniversary sale. Right now, get a free triple pane upgrade on all windows. A free triple pane upgrade on all windows. And if somebody asks you if you know a guy in the business, you can say no, but I know a girl. Go to abbyhome.com today or give us a call, 414-436-ABBY, 414-436-2229.
Well, it's getting toward that time, right? Getting toward the end of summer. Maybe you're trying to figure out just one final thing to do with the kids before they go back to school. Then you're thinking, I don't know what to do with the dog. Well, let the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls help you out with their expert doggy boarding and daycare services. The Hounds and Tap have got you covered. Don't put off that trip. Out of town, long weekend, getting out of Dodge before school year begins. Nope, book it. Go right ahead. Make sure you connect with the Hounds and Tap. Your dog will be a happy pup, like ours is. Knight, we had him at the Hounds and Tap a couple of weeks ago, and we stepped out of town for a long weekend with the family, and we knew that Knight was in great hands. We got personalized emails. Knight's having a great time. He is sleeping. He met a new friend. 2 emails in 2 days. That was great. Tons of pictures on their Facebook page. Knight was a happy dog at the Hounds in Tap. Every time we drive by and he's in the car, Knight stands up in the vehicle. And he starts making that noise. Are we going here? Are we going here? Are we going to the Hounds and Tap? Once the school year begins, make sure you're connecting with the Hounds and Tap for doggy daycare. Grooming services as well. Also, take advantage of the indoor-outdoor tavern. Really, there's nothing like it. Visit thehoundsandtap.com.
Join us for the Milwaukee Night Market this summer on July 22nd, August 19th, September 16th, and October 7th. Located on West Wisconsin Avenue between 2nd Street and Vel R. Phillips Avenue. The Milwaukee Night Market is a free outdoor event showcasing a variety of local vendors, performers, and artists. The Milwaukee Night Market transforms the heart of downtown into an exciting fusion of all the city has to offer for one night only each month this summer and fall. Visit mkenightmarket.com to learn more.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow for Appliance Gallery, right on Wisconsin Avenue in Milwaukee. Their gorgeous showroom is the most up-to-date in our state, featuring luxury brands like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Miele, Fisher & Paykel, and more. They'll work right with your contractor or designer and make the process seamless. They even offer brands where you can choose from custom colors. As a small family-owned company with one location, they deliver impeccable service with a personal touch. Visit ApplianceGalleryWY.com or stop in today.
No matter what business you're in, as the #1 SBA lender in Wisconsin, Summit Credit Union helps your vision take shape with loan programs, great rates, and strategic solutions.
Awarded the #1 SBA lender by the Small Business Administration of Wisconsin in 2025.
Prizes, flyaways, even
Cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting WTMJ.com/contests.
That's WTMJ.com/contests.
Attention travelers. The Fox World Travel Vacation Showcase is coming to Oshkosh on Saturday, September 12th. Meet over 20 top vendors, including major cruise lines, tour companies, hotels, and WTMJ's own Steve Scafidi. Attend expert travel presentations, unlock exclusive booking offers, and enter to win amazing prizes. Registration is required to attend this premium event, and space is limited. Secure your spot today. Visit foxworldtravel.com to register right now.
Sports parents know the countless hours and dollars spent on practice, games, equipment, training, travel. So when an injury happens, why don't we invest in recovery too? Vince Vitrano for MD Hyperbaric. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy supports the body's natural healing process, whether it's recovering from injury or a concussion, because it's not just about getting your athlete back on the field, it's about helping them recover for school, work, and life long after the season ends. Learn more at mdhyperbaric.com.
So a guy named Bill Rasmussen is widely known as the father of sports television. He passed away this morning at the age of 93. He revolutionized the media landscape, launching a 24-hour cable channel in 1979. You might have heard of it.
If you're a fan, what you'll see in the next minutes, hours, and days to follow may convince you you've gone to sports heaven. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with ESPN, the Total Sports Cable Network.
Yeah. Bill Rasmussen founded ESPN back in the late 1970s. And famously, there's a great story about this. He maxed out his credit card and used a $9,000 advance to secure satellite space for an all-sports channel. Critics thought he would fail. What are you talking about? 24 hours? How do you staff it?
How do you fill
what do you
that?
show? Right. I mean, this is way before these lucrative sports contracts. I mean, it took about 10 years before ESPN even landed Major League Baseball. So 24 hours of sports, how do you do it?
And we're just minutes away from the first event on the ESPN schedule. That's the 1979 NCAA College Football Preview. And then we're going to follow that with a doubleheader of games. 2 of the Professional Slow Pitch League World Series games will be seen tonight. Now, softball is one of those rare sports that everybody knows something about. Why? Because we all play it on Sunday when we drink a little beer.
Yeah, college football preview special and then some men's slow pitch softball. That's how it started on ESPN.
I loved that bite that you played in the beginning about just you're going to sports heaven, because really for fans, that's what it was.
Yes, and then you realize you're watching men's slow pitch softball and you're saying, well, maybe this will not.
Maybe we need some changes.
Yeah, right.
But there were lots of changes over the years.
Well, no doubt. ESPN has certainly evolved, and some would say in certain aspects, maybe devolved, but nonetheless, sports play-by-play has been a staple of the ESPN broadcast, and so has this show.
Now, here's another innovation on ESPN, and it's going to be a big part of our future. The Sports Center with George Grand. He'll have the latest on what's happening all around.
So that was your highlight show. That was your daily recap. It was there was no weather. There were no headlines that were newsmakers. This was all about sports. And it became that thing that you just watched. SportsCenter was on in the morning. They would show repeats from 6 to 9, and I would watch 3 in a row before going to school when I was in middle school and high school. SportsCenter commercials became their own sort of thing. And the Racing Sausages and Bucky Badger were involved. It really did help sort of anchor all of the coverage on ESPN into one nightly or daily show.
I mean, if you were a hardcore sports fan, you were watching ESPN Sports Center. This is kind of a random story, but this makes me think about it. I remember when I was anchoring the news in the Quad Cities many, many years ago, and President Obama at the time was coming to town. He was actually staying in the hotel where I lived because the top 2 floors were apartments. But besides that, I had to work that day. So he spent the night over, at this, it was called Hotel Blackhawk, still is. And I remember thinking they were going to close off the gym area. It wasn't a very big gym area, but they were closing off the gym area that morning because the president liked to get his workouts in. And I remember thinking a lot of people have the TVs on. I thought, oh, great, maybe the president will be watching our newscast. It was the #1 rated newscast by leaps and bounds in the Quad Cities. Hello, Quad Cities, for any of you who know. Quad Cities Today it was. And then I realized, nope, he will not be watching us because he had a tradition of watching in the morning, working out and watching Sports Center.
Yeah, that is fascinating. So Rasmussen, for all of his efforts, right, he defied the odds here. He was named to the Sports 100 list of the most important people in American sports history. Not television history, sports history. Also inducted into the Sports Broadcasting Hall of Fame in 2025. Rasmussen died from complications due to Parkinson's disease, but up until his final days, I'm sure he'd be nothing but proud of what he helped create. Back in 1979, there was very little competition. There was a channel growing up that I remember in the 80s, and I think it was called the Sports Channel, and it showed kind of offbeat. You'd see rugby on it at like 9 at night, and it was never anything mainstream, really, the sports you watched. You'd watch like the Canadian Football League or things like that. Well, ESPN had a grander vision, and eventually they did secure that Major League Baseball contract in the late 80s. And now it's just sort of all-encompassing, but humble beginnings, as it started with a little slow-pitch softball and a college football preview special.
I mean, what a life. If you think about, he was just a sports fan. He was a sports fan turned broadcaster and then an entrepreneur, and this really was an out-of-the-box idea for a 24-hour cable sports network. And the chairman of ESPN said Bill was a remarkable man, a visionary and an innovator who conceived the idea of a network entirely devoted to sports. He said, quite simply, none of us would be here today if it wasn't for Bill's passion and all the hard work and entrepreneurial spirit he put into building ESPN in the late 70s, key aspects of our company culture that still carry on to this day.
Bill Rasmussen passing away at the age of 93.
Total sports and entertainment. We're the one worth watching. Come alive without a doubt. You'll see the best. We'll work it out. With total sports and entertainment. Everything worth seeing. Total sports entertainment. We're the newest network. ESPN. Everything worth seeing.
For growing businesses, digital marketing shouldn't be a gamble. If your business sees results, not guesswork, it's time for a different approach. At Margle Media, we deliver real results for businesses in an evolving digital world. Backed by data, guided by strategy, and focused on actionable outcomes. We partner with businesses of all sizes to drive growth locally or nationwide. Set up a free consultation today. Visit us at marglemedia.com. That's MARGLE media.com.
Had a fun night last night playing games with the kids in the basement, and it was what we have gotten accustomed to doing over the last several months now that we've got a place that's become the heart of our home thanks to Matrix Basement Finishing. What an incredible experience, really from start to finish. That design consultation through the first materials being delivered, making all the selections of the final finished materials, that final item on the punch list being crossed off about 11 weeks later, and now we've got a place that's become the heart of our home. House completely transformed. That lower level is way more than just a lower level. Matrix Basement Finishing brings the process to you. That's what we really appreciated. There wasn't a series of meetings off-site or at different locations. No, Matrix came to us, and they helped devise the plan that ultimately became reality. And that's what our basement is. It is unbelievable what they did. Quite a transformation. Check out some of my social media photos. You can see the before and after, what Matrix did for us. They'll do it for you. Connect with Matrix. Lock it in. No payments until 2028. Get that basement space you always wanted and work with a company that only does basements. That's Matrix. Not trying to finish a housing development, not trying to finish off anything else. It's just basements. Visit matrixbasements.com.
See every smile, every milestone, every moment that matters most. From the moment you walk into Shopko Optical, you'll feel welcomed, valued, and genuinely cared for. The team at Shopko Optical takes time to understand your concerns, explain your options, and answer questions so you feel confident in your care. Whether you're due for a comprehensive eye exam or looking for the right eyewear, they're here to support your vision and eye health every step of the way. Create your personalized eye care plan. Visit shopko.com today.
The second you hear this,
fly ball left center.
You know exactly who it is.
Strong is on the move. He's running out of room. It's gone!
Brewers play-by-play man Jeff Levering, our Brewers 360 guest every Wednesday at 8:45 on Wisconsin's Morning News.
We're happy to do it. We're happy to call winning baseball, and there's been a lot of winning baseball with the Brewers these days.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited, Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Cannon and Dunphy, and Ridgetop Exteriors.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Trying to keep up with the 21st century can really get you down.
When you need a break, come to Kessler's. We'll turn your day around.
We have good air conditioning.
And we love making new friends.
The coffee's better than average.
Because we want you to come back again.
We want to be your jeweler.
My father told you for 29 years that he wanted to be your jeweler. He put that desire in everyone he hired.
And then he gave us the company.
He transformed our lives and gave us the most fun job on earth. It's easy to sell jewelry when you sell it for less than it's worth.
Come and take a look at our engagement rings.
And of course, we have thousands of other things. When you're having an overcast day, come to Kessler's. We're going to turn your day around. Free jewelry cleaning done by world-class professionals. While you drink your good coffee in a room full of diamonds and gold. Makes you feel better, no matter what you've been told.
One thing you definitely want to see before you're done
Is our exclusive Kessler 81.
to find the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Bring us your problems, deadlines, complexities, anxieties, distractions, and budget distresses.
Plum Media is listening.
Share with us your creative block.
Plum Media is ready.
Give us your audience with limited time and attention.
Plum Media sets your message free.
Let's get your message heard. Let's strive for retention from beginning to completion. Whether your next event is for celebration, education, motivation, inspiration, Plum Media is waiting to take action.
Professional collaborators, planners, managers. Plum Media, video production and event management.
Plum Media, wow moments, flawless execution, clarity, calm, control.
And results.
Plum Media, a video, meetings, and event producer with global experience. PlumMedia.com.
Transform your home today. Exterior Pros. Trust the pros.
The tide's turning in Milwaukee. The Mariners are in town. But in these waters, the crew runs the ship.
Henderson kicks, delivers, and a swing and a miss. Oh, what a nasty changeup. Down and away from Henderson. And Ohtani just casting his bat hopelessly.
The Brewers take on the Mariners tonight at American Family Field. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts at 6:05 on the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 2:01. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. It's Tuesday, August 18th. Your top story, more measles cases confirmed in Wisconsin as the outbreak continues.
I'm Jessica Ty. The leader of a major cocaine operation turns himself in.
Partly cloudy, humid today. Chance of showers and storms later on, high 81. Storms ending tonight eventually. Partly cloudy, low 64. 75 in Milwaukee at 2:01. From the WTMJ, breaking news from a measles outbreak in southwest Wisconsin continues to grow. The Department of Health Services reporting 36 cases in total confirmed across 3 counties, including 2 new cases reported in Grant County just today. 3 additional probable cases are also being monitored. Officials still have not determined any public exposure locations in connection to those cases.
A new court ruling means Milwaukee County will once again have to send money to a fund benefiting school libraries across the state.
A provision approved in last year's state budget allowed only Milwaukee County to keep 100% of certain motor vehicle fines. The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty sued, arguing the exemption violated the state constitution. A judge agreed and issued a permanent injunction blocking the provision. The Legislative Fiscal Bureau estimated the exemption for Milwaukee County would have kept over $4 million out of the Common School Fund over the next 2 years. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
The ringleader of a coordinated and highly profitable cocaine operation at Penn State University, turning himself into police.
Sigma Chi fraternity member Agostino Abatello was one of the state college's largest cocaine dealers ever, serving Penn State students from 2023 to 2024. And authorities say that he got the cocaine from someone in New York as well as in Philadelphia and had members of his fraternity pick up that cocaine. Thomas Robinson, a member of the Delta Upsilon fraternity, would buy from Abatello and distribute it to his fraternity. And Robinson and 5 others face felony charges for their role in the distribution.
8 others are being charged with misdemeanor possession.
Ukrainian forces are carrying out one of their biggest drone attacks on Russia since the war started. They're using more long-range drones for strikes deep inside Russia. Moscow's mayor says Ukraine launched more than 600 drones at the Russian capital overnight. ABC's Lama Hassan with the update.
This was another massive aerial attack on the Moscow region. The mayor saying that Ukraine launched 620 drones overnight. They managed to shoot down 180 of them, hitting one of them hitting a high-rise building. And once again, we're also seeing a wild berries warehouse targeted. That is Russia's equivalent of Amazon. We saw Ukraine doing this over the weekend as well. And one of the main goals here for Ukraine is to bring the war, or try to bring the war, to the ordinary Russian citizen. And the other reason is because Ukraine has accused wild berries of handling military goods.
The latest phase of the war has directly impacted Russia's domestic fuel supplies and dented its economy.
Despite a violent Monday, overall shootings are down in the city of Milwaukee. Police say it's a good sign for the rest of the year, but there's still work to do. Lieutenant Efrain Cornejo on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
We need people to help us when they know the individuals that are involved with guns, that illegally have them, and are involved in violent crime.
Homicides down 30% during the first half of the year compared to the same time a year ago. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Not sure we're going to get a bounce back here today. Everything well off. The Dow off nearly 100 points at 53,383. NASDAQ down 350 points at 26,294. And the S&P lagging about 50 at 7697. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Go to annexwealth.com and click on the Get Started button today.
Happy birthday, Cooper Pratt. Coop turns 22 today. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 2:05.
Don't think twice. Call Dice.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with the new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geiss's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield. Or you can also visit their online showroom at geissdoors.com. Geiss has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geiss at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geiss. Visit them online at geissdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Dice.
Whoop, just doing some roofing on another lovely Wisconsin day. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, it's just roofing done the old-fashioned way. You betcha. Do you need shingles? Let's mingle. For a Wisconsin tradition never dwindles. So raise a glass, shake a hand for this old-fashioned brand. Whoop, that's old-fashioned roofing.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, and they offer early memory loss classes to help you. They specialize in this area. It's kindness at the core, locations throughout southeast Wisconsin. It's compassion, it's empathy. It's Wisconsin-based and family-owned, always welcoming people to come tour and welcome their new residents. I've seen their places. They're top-notch. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. Brewers begin a 6-game homestand tonight against the Mariners. Manager Pat Murphy with an injury update on Bryce Terang and Sal Frelick.
I think you'll see Bryce give it a go. You know, he's nurturing some pretty sore ankle and a pretty sore knee. But I think, you know, this rest will he's going to try it this week. Sal, I think, is a little further away. he's got to make sure that his shoulder is strong enough to withstand the day-to-day of the big leagues.
Shortstop Cooper Pratt celebrating his birthday today with a rehab assignment. Coverage of tonight's game gets underway at 6:05. Meanwhile, at Packers camp, second-round draft pick Brandon Cisse continuing to rotate in with the number one defense. That's all part of the plan, according to Packers GM Brian Gutekunst.
Sometimes you're going to want to see a younger player go against better receivers to see how they do, and you're just moving guys around to kind of see how that works. So we're in that phase and just trying to get as much information on these guys as we can before we get to the regular season.
Packers continue the preseason Friday night in Denver against the Broncos.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We're looking better than we were before. All of the crashes that we have now cleared. We do have some slowing in our normal spots. The most significant ones right now are 94 westbound, right around American Family Field, as you make your way out to the Burbs and State Fair Park. Also seeing some more significant slowing on 4145 South. Looks like a little bit after you hit Bradley Road, you start to slam on the brakes there. But it's clear once you hit Silver Spring Drive.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Social Security benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Unable to work due to health problems? Let Tayback help you get approved for the Social Security benefits you're entitled to. Call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Cloudy, muggy, high of 81 degrees today. Chance of rain, maybe some storms later on this evening and into the late hours of the night. Overnight low 64. Tomorrow looks great. High 78 degrees, plenty of sunshine. Very similar forecast on Thursday with a high of 80. 78, partly cloudy in Milwaukee at 209.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Well, the rest of our show, Wisconsin's Afternoon News, Brewers baseball, and about wraps up your day here on WTMJ with the Mariners in town. I've always found it curious that their mascot is a moose, but that's a different story perhaps for another time.
Okay, and then think about how many mascots we have. The Brewers, they have so many mascots.
Very true.
Does anybody else have more?
That is a great question. I have a bizarre fascination with mascots, so I do like the Bernie and the Barrel Man and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, you had the sausages at your wedding.
You got that? Yes, I do. One still owes me $50.
Here's your top 2 at 2 on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1. The Department of Natural Resources confirms Wisconsin's first cases of EHD in wild deer this year. 2 deer were found dead in Washington County, and they started testing. So one near Richfield, the other in West Bend. The deer tested positive after people reported a cluster of healthy-looking deer dying near water. I was curious when they said a cluster. Like, how many does that mean? Are we talking about 5 or 10 or more? So I did reach out to the DNR, and one of the reps got back to me right before the show, and she said, we are receiving reports every day and are still calculating totals, but we are likely over 100 dead deer so far from southern Washington County, from that area. That's a lot. That's a lot. So just to give you an idea what that cluster means, there you go. EHD is a disease spread by tiny biting flies. So we're talking about like midges or no-see-ums too. Not deer-to-deer contact. It is serious. It's often fatal. But according to the DNR, it does not infect humans or pose a public health risk. Outbreaks typically happen from August through October and usually end with the first hard frost. By the way, if you see a sick deer or you find one that's dead near water, do contact the DNR because they want you to report it.
Well, number 2, he's been an athletic director. He's a former NFL player, former president and CEO of the Super Bowl winning Green Bay Packers. And now Mark Murphy gets to call himself professor? Well, sort of. Murphy will be partnering with the University of Wisconsin Green Bay to teach about the evolution of football. Why not? Murphy will talk about football's 19th century beginnings to today's NFL, where we are today. He'll share insights into rules changes, leadership decisions, and moments that transform football into America's most popular sport. He's had quite the background in the sport of football. He attended and played college football at Colgate. He was later the athletic director there. Of course, played in the Super Bowl 1983 and in 1984 with Washington. He worked for the NFL Players Association. He was the athletic director at Northwestern before coming to Green Bay, serving as president and ultimately president and CEO. So now he's got this 3-part series that he'll be teaching at UW Green
Love
Bay.
that.
Sessions will be an hour long. There'll be one on September 8th, one on October 13th, another one on November 10th, and you can register. You don't have to be a UWGB student to be a part of this necessarily.
Should we take the class?
I think it'd be a blast, right? You pay the $119. You can log online to the UWGB Enrichment website, and there you go. The presentation's not surprising. We'll lean toward the Packers, but you'll also look at a larger, more global history of the game.
That's really cool. I once took an online course about the city of Milwaukee. It was during COVID, I believe.
Okay.
It was interesting. I thought I loved Milwaukee. I know a lot about it, but I certainly could learn more. And yeah, so it was an online course. Had to sign up for it. I think it was free, though. It was free. Anybody else out there take that course? It was interesting.
Well, this will cost you $119, and the first session will be September 8th from noon to 1. That kind of rules you out from noon to 1, unless you want to take the day off, or maybe we do it here. Maybe we do it as part of the show.
Yes.
Mark, you're
That's
live.
an idea. We got to figure out how we can make that happen.
This is all being live streamed, Mark. Thank you for joining our program while we join yours.
By the way, don't confuse that Mark Murphy with the other Professor Mark Murphy, because there is another Professor Mark Murphy in our state. He's a professor in the School of Education at Wisconsin Lutheran College.
I assume these are different Mark Murphys.
They are.
The picture on the article that I'm reading would indicate such. It's 2:14 on WTMJ. Want to dive into this crazy story coming out of Penn State University. More details after this.
Hey, is your son, daughter, or grandchild's birthday soon? WTMJ's John Mercure here. I've got a great idea. Hosting a birthday party is a lot of work. No need for you to cook and organize, then clean your home. How about having your party at the amazing Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford, the area's most affordable birthday party destination? Your party room is free, with a world-class game room with over 70 games, including the easiest ones for your little ones. The pizza party packages are super affordable and include free game room credits. Whether your birthday party is for 10 or 50, the Mind Chef will host your party or your business event. It'll be the best and easiest birthday party ever. Your kids and grandkids will love you more than ever. They even have your cake. I highly recommend the Mind Chef restaurant for your next birthday party or a really fun, interactive business gathering. Reservations are required 2 days in advance. Google the Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford. Click on party planning for all the details. Birthdays are easy at the amazing Mineshaft.
Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee's setting the stage for you to rock your socks off. How about this? The rest of this month, in August, jam out with Real Rock Off. It's happening at Potawatomi, and you could win some big-time prizes. How about this? $300,000 in cash and prizes available for you. You get in on the jam session by playing with your Potawatomi rewards card for entries, and Thursday nights, there will be a game show battleground for your share of cash and reward play. It's called Real Rock Off. Going to be big time here. Only at Potawatomi. More information online. Must be 21 years or older and a rewards member to play.
Is your life stuck in constant stress mode? Headaches, poor sleep, constant tension. Vince Vitrano for Connect Chiropractic, my team that can help, not just mask symptoms, but find the root cause. Connect Chiro specializes in neurologically focused chiropractic care, helping your nervous system function the way it's designed so your body can heal, adapt, and perform at its best. Helping our community live healthier, more energized lives. Go connectchiro.com.
Kind of a muggy high of 81 degrees today. Partly cloudy right now. Possible that we could have some storms here popping up here in the evening hours, maybe even the overnight hours, with an overnight low of 66 degrees. Tomorrow's high 78, plenty of sunshine. Looks like very much the same forecast on Thursday. 75 right now in Milwaukee at 216. So the story out of Penn State University is crazy, and it is back to school time here. My niece recently moved into her place at the University of Illinois, and that is not uncommon throughout the country, including Penn State, where 14 people, including 13 current and former students, are charged in an alleged cocaine trafficking ring.
Officials say between 2023 and 2024, two of the suspects made regular trips to New York and Philadelphia to buy as much as 1 kilogram of the drug at a time. They say the cocaine was then allegedly packaged to sell to students at two fraternity houses. The drugs were allegedly then sold to other students with payments in cash or using apps. Officials say one of the suspects was known as the largest dealer of coke for Penn State students.
This is a wild story, and the story goes on to say that after the cocaine was procured and brought back to the fraternity houses, pledges in these fraternities would go through the process of getting it packaged and ready to go, ready for sale to whoever it was being sold to.
If this is indeed the case, and this is factual, everything that we're hearing, these allegations, it certainly makes you wonder if this was part of a hazing ritual, because investigators say during that March transaction, there were many transactions, but during a March transaction, a photo from a co-defendant's phone showed several of the DU pledges packing the cocaine into smaller baggies for distribution. So they're saying, hey, we've got the DU pledges in pictures on this phone, and it makes you wonder if it was part of the hazing situation that you often hear about within the Greek system.
So DU is Delta Ipsilon. The university says it placed DU on interim suspension, and the other fraternity mentioned here in this story is Sigma Chi. They're not currently recognized at the university. Now, this does happen where a chapter pops up on a university, then for whatever reason, they no longer have their charter and they're no longer at the university.
Sometimes they get kicked off, yeah. Right? For hazing incidents, that's happened often.
Sure, that does happen. In separate statements, both fraternities say the members involved were expelled or suspended from the organizations. I pointed out that 14 people were involved in this, including 13 current and former students. Well, what about the 14th? Well, the only non-student charged, and the one who has turned himself in, is one of the suspect's fathers. He's accused of hiding drugs and cash in a safe, trying to keep it away from anybody who'd have eyes on it, and also obstructing the investigation. This is bonkers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think it puts a stain on the Greek system, too. And I guess I should note, as I say, hey, the Greek system is known for hazing and has had many incidents in the past. I will say there are a lot of great things about the Greek system as well. And you have a lot of sororities and fraternities that are heavily involved in philanthropy. But sometimes you have some so-called bad actors. This stuff pops up, and this looks like it could be the case.
Yeah, a story with more legs here, but shocking story coming out of Penn State University. It's 12:20 here on WTMJ.
No matter where you hear WTMJ, whether it be here.
So we are overlooking the bay. We're in the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studios.
Or there.
Here live in our Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Catch us at home or on the go. Thanks to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
In the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin podcast studio.
We are live wherever you are, on the air and on the go. The Pella Windows and Doors podcast studio is live on WTMJ.com.
I was getting dressed today in a very clean, beautifully redone master closet, completely transformed by my friends at Inspired Closets Milwaukee. We had a problem, they had a solution. Our problem was clutter and a lack of organization. No matter what we tried to do, we couldn't get it figured out. Well, Inspired Closets Milwaukee came by, spent about an hour at our place, and took some measurements and ultimately came back with a beautiful design. Now that design is reality. We have a gorgeous custom designer closet thanks to Inspired Closets Milwaukee. Let them do for you what they did for us. Remove the clutter from your life. Reduce your stress level significantly with a more organized space. Whether it's that front hall closet, master closet, pantry, laundry room, garage space, the mud room, which is getting a ton of activity right now with the kids back from school. You're going to have backpacks and coats mounted up there in the fall and winter seasons. Let that space be organized. Let Katie and Dan, the wife and husband team at Inspired Closets Milwaukee, add organization to your life. Reduce your stress and find the natural beauty of an organized space. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
For 176 years, St. Vincent de Paul Society of Milwaukee has been neighbors helping neighbors, working to eliminate poverty and hunger with compassion and dignity. When families face hard times, our volunteers step in. Over 600 trained volunteers ready to meet people where they're at, in their homes. And that's what our Neighbors Helping Neighbors home visit program is all about. Volunteers travel in pairs, listening first, then offering personalized support. They provide families and individuals with things like furniture, beds, food, clothing, and connect them to vital community resources, help that provides stability during challenging times. These home visits don't just address an immediate need, they help create a safer, more stable future for our families and individuals in our community. Last year alone, St. Vincent de Paul Society volunteers completed nearly 11,000 home visits across Milwaukee County, serving those who need us most. Together, we are neighbors helping neighbors. To learn more about our mission or get involved, visit svdpmilw.org.
You know Nielsen, right? The ratings people.
Oh gosh, do I know Nielsen?
Probably all too familiar with that.
We used to get. We get Nielsen ratings every single morning. You look at them, and some people they like lived or died off of them. And it was very antiquated in the past. I know Nielsen is now. It's making news within the last couple of days here, making some changes to how they do the television ratings. But it's very antiquated for a long time.
So yes, Nielsen is the company that tracks television ratings. I haven't known them to track this, however, because it's their first inaugural. Nielsen is now tracking NFL fandom. And it's out with its inaugural Nielsen Scarborough NFL Fandom Index. The goal is to apply 8 different metrics to determine which cities have the most avid NFL fans in America. So here's the criteria: apparel purchases, event attendance, streaming, social media following, TV viewership, radio listening, betting intent, which is a curious one to me.
Oh, yeah.
And then
That seems like an
overall
outlier.
interest level. So those are the 8 criteria that Nielsen popped into its hopper to figure out where the most avid NFL fans exist in the United States. It's kind of a power ranking, if you will. Feels like we should have power ranking music to figure out who's on top and where the Packers fit. The Packers...
They've got to be high up there.
Well, according to Nielsen, the Packers check in at number 3 on the list, behind the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, KC. Okay.
So I find both of those teams ahead of the Green Bay Packers, and really inclusive of the Green Bay Packers, very interesting because it speaks to a level of intense fandom for the small to medium markets, right? Buffalo, Kansas City, Green Bay. One team, concentrated local identity. They kind of own the state. For as much as the state of New York has the Jets and the New York Giants, they play in New Jersey, which is kind of weird. Buffalo is not anywhere near New York City. It just feels like an outlier, but it's got that small market intensity to it. Big market dilution hurt cities like New York and Los Angeles. Think about this. They've big cities, massive cities, all sorts of alternative entertainment options, multiple franchises, so their per capita passion scores end up a little bit more diluted.
Per capita passion score.
That is one of the things they look at here. But the Packers do very well in a number of specific areas. Extremely high generational culture and local merchandise sales. What it says about apparel purchases, I find this so dead on. Green Bay's defining individual category metric is apparel purchases. Nielsen notes that Green Bay significantly outperforms what its physical market size would suggest, calling the green and gold a literal wardrobe staple that extends far beyond Wisconsin borders. Is that not true?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we have there are Packers fans across the country, especially when you have snowbirds down in Florida. You see the green and gold all over down there.
Live event attendance, driven by decades-long season ticket waiting lists and local culture.
Let's talk about that waiting list.
It's massive.
That's I mean, there's so many people who would love to have tickets and just will not have tickets in their lifetime because that waiting list is so long.
This is what Nielsen calls a concentrated pattern of loyalty. See how they use fancy words there to describe the waiting list? There's also fewer live entertainment options in Green Bay during the football season, so you draw everybody in. It is a very quiet town in Green Bay when the Packers are playing at Lambeau Field. They also do very well in TV viewership and radio listening. Where the Green Bay Packers lag is in streaming and in social media. Green Bay's fan base profile leans significantly older, more traditional. Their digital metrics are stable, but when compared to the other teams in the league, far below what the others compute for streaming. And that's not a big surprise to me. Overall betting intent is strong. They feel the Packers as one of those teams people like to bet on or against, I guess. Packers are involved in your betting. That's still kind of a weird one to me. But not surprised where the Packers do very well and not surprised where they lag.
Well, I'll tell you who else is talking about this. the Chiefs fans and the Buffalo Bills fans. If you just do a quick little Google search, they're like, hey, Chiefs fans, guess where we rank in the Nielsen Fandom Index? So everybody's kind of cheering about this if you're at the top.
I like that. It's kind of a Midwest vibe here with the Chiefs and Green Bay Packers, and Buffalo really isn't all that far from where we are here, but these small to medium-sized market teams, their level of concentrated loyalty, per capita, yada, 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 intensity, small market intensity with these teams.
I just ran into a good friend of mine and an old colleague who I worked with over at CBS, and he works for Nielsen now, but he did not tell me about this index, Greg. Wish I would have known.
The first
would have
inaugural.
asked him about it.
We'll see what happens next year. It's 2:27. We've got news coming up.
It's WTMJ's Julia Fellow for Sweet Talks Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. If you're looking for expert care without that cold clinical vibe, Sweet Talks is where beauty, wellness, and self-confidence comes together in such a fun, welcoming space. Sweet Talks offers injectables, advanced skin treatments, even wellness services like weight loss or hormone optimization. Sweet Talks provides a comprehensive consultation designed just for you. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Set sail with the cruise line perfect for explorers. Fox World Travel invites you to discover the world with Holland America Line. From the majestic glaciers of Alaska to the historic ports of Europe, experience premium mid-sized ships, world-class dining, and captivating live music. Whether you are planning for late this year or ahead into 2027, your perfect voyage is waiting. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO or visit foxworldtravel.com to book today.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. Hey, reminder, it is summer storm season, and weather damage can be a real issue at the house. So if you think you've got a problem, remember, Tri-County Contracting gives free estimates on any potential wind or hail damage. And here's the best part, they can always work directly with your insurance. It's TriCountyContractingWI.com. Love your home again, even during the storm season, with TriCountyContractingWI.com.
The new All-Pro Battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. Exclusively available at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power comparison between AP300PC and AP300S.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
It's 2:30. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. Your top story. 2 men found dead inside a Milwaukee music studio, identified.
I'm Jessica Ty. New details on those fights on the final night of State Fair.
81 degrees are high. Muggy conditions. Chance of storms later on this afternoon and evening.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Pennsylvania, the alleged ringleader of a cocaine drug ring involving Penn State fraternity members and houses surrendered today. State Attorney General David Sunday says former student Agostino Abatiello was arraigned. 13 others also charged.
The evidence showed that cocaine was primarily packaged at the fraternity houses and that packaging was done by fraternity brothers and oftentimes pledges.
Penn State officials say they are cooperating with the investigation. In Ohio, the mayor of Toledo confirming that 2 employees from Brent Industries died following an explosion and fire. The cause of the explosion remains under investigation. The U.S. and Iran continue to battle for control over the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump claiming now that the strait is under a U.S. territory. Iran calls that claim delusional. Liberia announced it will receive up to 1,200 deportees from the U.S., marking the largest deportation arrangements with the Trump administrations. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 2:31. 2 men found dead inside a Milwaukee music studio, identified.
The Milwaukee medical examiners have identified the victims as 33-year-old Quentin Williams and 21-year-old DeQuayshawn Evans. Williams has been identified by family as a rapper and music producer known as Funny Money. Both were allegedly shot to death in the music studio near 31st Street and Cameron Avenue. A 28-year-old is in custody. The circumstances leading up to the shooting are unknown. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
New details now about that violent conclusion to the Wisconsin State Fair.
7 people were arrested on Sunday night after multiple fights broke out in the Spin City area. Video on social media showing police officers chase after people as they tried to clear the area. Wisconsin State Fair Park confirms one officer was struck but was not seriously hurt. They also confirmed there were no gunshots fired, contrary to rumors circulating on social media. No fairgoers were hurt, and the fights were isolated to the final hours of the fair on Sunday. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Milwaukee police keeping a close eye on social media for signs of teen takeovers. Lieutenant Efrain Cornejo tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News it's been mostly quiet since March.
We still monitor a lot of stuff to try to get ahead of the game, per se, on some of these teen takeovers. We haven't seen as many. However, there's always chatter still, and we're prepared to try to respond. But unfortunately, as you can tell, sometimes they just unfold out of nowhere.
Milwaukee will continue to offer safe summer sites with free evening activities for teens at multiple high schools for the rest of summer.
We now know the identity of the woman killed during a road rage incident in Milwaukee. The medical examiner's office tells us it was 44-year-old Minerva Lopez. Police say she was shot multiple times near 10th and Lapham yesterday afternoon. An 18-year-old woman is in custody.
And Oak Creek could soon get hundreds of thousands of dollars from Buc-ee's, but the deal comes with a proposed street name change. Common Council is expected to vote tonight on an agreement that would give the city $350,000 up front, plus $15,000 each year for events and marketing. And in return, the city would support renaming part of Elm Road to Buc-ee's Boulevard. The Buc-ee's project is expected to create about 200 jobs with a 74,000 square foot store and 120 fueling pumps.
This now has me wondering how many Buc-ee's Boulevards there are in the U.S.
Great question.
It looks like there's at least one. I'm guessing there's got to be more. I just did a quick little search, and one in Virginia popped up, but there's got to be more out there. We're going to keep looking.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 2:34.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Hey, remember when your basement was just for storage? WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. With Matrix Basement Finishing, they turn that empty space into the heart of your home. It's what they did for us. Whether it's a cozy family movie night or cheering on your favorite team during the best time of the year to watch sports. From the design consultation to picking out your perfect flooring and fixtures, the process is seamless and done at your home. Get the quality craftsmanship you deserve with no payments until 2028. And visit matrixbasements.com.
Enjoy life at Capri Communities, where senior living's our expertise. Caring staff that help you when you need. Enjoy life at Capri, making friends and memories. Living life to the fullest, you will love your new home.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. When the Packers begin the regular season, a newly arranged offensive line will be in front of Jordan Love, including Jordan Morgan at left tackle. Packers GM Brian Gutekunst has high hopes for the former first-round draft pick.
He's going to have to go out and do it over a full season and year in and year out, but he's done a really nice job through the spring, really nice job so far. I'm looking forward to getting some more reps here in the preseason and then get ready for the regular season, but we think he's got a super bright future to be a really good player in this league.
Packers continue the preseason Friday night in Denver against the Broncos. Brewers take tonight against the Mariners in Game 1 of a 3-game series at American Family Field. Pat Murphy's team begins the day 29 games above 500 with just over a month to go in the regular season.
But all in all, to have the best record in baseball this late in August is pretty surprising for anyone, although we did it last year. Still, it's an amazing feat for these guys, the way they compete.
Murphy believes second baseman Bryce Terang could return to action this week, maybe as early as tonight. Coverage of tonight's game begins at 6:05.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic. We do have a new crash, and I looked at the location of this one, and I thought, wait, this crash went away. Did it just pop up again? No, this is a new one. 4145 North, very close to the ramp from Capitol Drive. Left shoulder, in this case, is blocked because of this new crash, and I'm definitely seeing the delays start to mount. Avoid the area if you can. That's 4145 North, just a little bit beyond the ramp from Capitol Drive. Left shoulder is blocked, and it's getting slower and slower.
Chance of storms later on today and then again tonight with a high of 81 degrees, a little on the muggy side right now. Partly cloudy conditions, but there is some stuff on the radar moving toward our area. We'll see if it builds or holds together. Overnight low 64 degrees. Plenty of sun on Wednesday, high 78. More sun on Thursday with a high of 80. 75 right now in Milwaukee at 238.
It's Tech Tuesday with ABC News technology reporter Mike Dubusky.
We're not sure if he will be a judge in the upcoming AI beauty pageant, but he is our guest every Tuesday on Tech Tuesday.
The latest and greatest in the world of tech.
Tesla's next product, they call it a robo-taxi. These are AR glasses. They're called simply the Frame.
On Wisconsin's Midday News.
It's Tuesday. That means Tech Tuesday on Wisconsin's Midday News, our weekly connection with ABC tech expert. It's Mike Dubusky. Hey, Mike.
Hey, guys. How are you?
You're doing well. So underway in California, a trial pitting Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, against 29 state attorneys general, including Wisconsin's Attorney General Josh Kaul. So what does the lawsuit against Meta suggest here, Mike?
Yeah, so this is a court case that's getting underway in Oakland, California this week. It comes from 29 state attorneys general in total. And according to this lawsuit, it claims that Meta harnessed powerful and unprecedented technologies to entice, engage, and ultimately ensnare youth and teens. Ultimately, lawyers are building this argument that Facebook and Instagram were designed to get young users engaged on the platforms for as long as possible, and that had all these negative health outcomes, everything from body dysmorphia to things like suicidal ideation and worse. So the lawsuit also alleges here that Meta ran afoul of federal privacy law by unlawfully collecting the personal data of its youngest users without parents' permission. So there's an element of privacy here at play as well. We mentioned that there's nearly 30 state AGs that are lodging this lawsuit, which was first lodged back in 2023. We're primarily going to hear from 4 states making the case here. California, Colorado, New Jersey, and Kentucky are going to be in federal court, we expect, for the next 6 weeks or so. And we are expecting on Meta's side to hear from some of their top executives, including potentially Mark Zuckerberg and Adam Mosseri, who's the head of Instagram.
So, Mike, I think for some of our fans listening, it sounds like another lawsuit, Meta, and they all kind of blur together. Yeah. Why is this case different from all the other lawsuits Meta has faced over the years?
Well, it should sound familiar to people, right? Because Meta just lost 2 very similar cases in New Mexico and California recently dealing with some of these same questions. And just quickly to outline the strategy here, guys, this is not a lawsuit. These are not lawsuits that deal really with the content that goes on these platforms. These are cases that really get into the structure of how Instagram and Facebook and these types of platforms work, right? We're talking about features like infinite scrolling, where you just scroll and scroll and scroll and you never reach the bottom. Push notifications, which light up your phone, maybe create a dopamine response, maybe disrupt your sleep schedule, so on and so forth. The difference here between this case and some of the other cases that we've seen across the country is that this one's just potentially a lot bigger, right? Again, almost 30 different states are taking it to Meta here. Meta estimates the damages in this case could reach $1.4 trillion, which is a far cry from the nearly $1 billion that they're on the hook for in New Mexico. Meta is appealing both the New Mexico and the California cases, and the judge in this particular case, Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers, has called that number, that $1.4 trillion number, unreasonable, according to the outlet Law 360. But even still, if it falls somewhere south of $1.4 trillion, that could potentially still be a pretty big fine that Meta is facing if it does end up losing in court. And eventually this could start to add up for this company. According to a recent disclosure from Meta, they said that they spent $2.4 billion on legal costs alone in the second quarter of 2026. Small potatoes for a company as big as Meta, sure. But again, this could add up just given how many of these cases they're now facing.
So I want to go back to March of this year, Mike. The L.A. State Court jury handed out a $6 million verdict against Meta and Google. There was an individual involved here, but it was seen as a bellwether case. I'm wondering how impactful the result of that case could be in this one. Similar in structure, I get it. The dollars are significantly more, and there is a lot of states involved here, but does this case even exist without the result of the previous one in March?
It's a good question, and whether that case sets a precedent for this one. Really, we're too early to tell, right? Meta is appealing that particular case, and that is still yet to be decided in court, right? Like, they're still sort of working out exactly what the penalty for Meta would be. They're going to re-argue that case, so really its effect is kind of unclear on this particular case. But again, it really just speaks to exactly how much headwind Meta is facing on this front right now, from various angles, right? Like, there's this real effort now, it seems like, to target the fundamental design of these platforms, the actual decision making that happens in the boardrooms of Instagram and at Facebook, right, to roll out these platforms, right, or to roll out these potentially harmful features. And that again is something that is relatively new, right? It's a relatively new legal strategy that basically takes one of the key defenses that Meta has fallen back on in recent years, which is Section 230, protecting them from the content that gets published on their platform. That basically takes that defense off the table. And the critics of the social media sector and their lawyers have found a great degree of success so far on that front. So you can imagine this is very concerning to Mark Zuckerberg and others.
We're talking to ABC's Mike Dubusky for Tech Tuesday. Mike, Trump Media Company announced it's offering early exclusive access to President Trump's posts on U.S. policy, but now somebody is suing because of this. What's that new lawsuit all about?
Yeah, two organizations are suing, The Intercept and the Freedom of the Press Foundation, both media nonprofit organizations, and they allege that this new plan to allow early access for paying customers to the president's posts violates the First Amendment, which, according to this lawsuit, guarantees equal access to the president's public announcements, basically saying, hey, the president is a public figure, he is a public employee, and his statements are in the public interest, right? So there is this constitutionally protected right that we should all have equal access to those statements. And by paywalling, essentially, the latest posts, that runs afoul of the Constitution, according to these two organizations. They also say it violates the Fifth Amendment, which they say prohibits charging unreasonable sums that cannot be justified to offset the cost of the government benefit. What they're talking about there is how much money Truth Social, which is the president's social media platform, is charging for this early access. According to them, up to $100,000 a month in some cases.
Wow.
And Truth Social's holding company, the Trump Media Company, says that they've already signed up 10 customers. So doing
who are those people? I want to know.
We don't know
Who's
yet.
paying that?
But you can imagine who would be interested in that, right? The first thing that jumps to mind is like high frequency traders on Wall Street, right? Because we've seen the president announce key policy decisions on social media. He's done that for many years at this point, but first at Twitter and now on his own social media platforms. And those posts have the ability to dramatically move markets. Just one example, in October of last year, President Trump posted about a potentially massive increase in tariffs on China, which by some estimates wiped out $2 trillion in value from the stock market that day. So these posts have the potential to really shift how money is made and traded on Wall Street, and milliseconds count when we're talking about those trades. So you can imagine, giving early access to paying customers, people who are willing to pay quite a bit of money, would be raising some eyebrows eyebrows. And it's not just the Freedom of the Press Foundation and The Intercept that are concerned here. Legal experts and congressional Democrats have basically said this amounts to pay-to-play insider trading, though important to note there, guys, a caveat that insider trading typically involves information that's not available publicly at all. This is technically publicly available. You just have to have $100,000 a month to spend on it.
Well, Wall Street reacts quickly based upon comments made by the president, be it on social media or through a news conference or whatever the case may be. But still, a court would have to decide, Mike, if one of his posts is personal or official, right? I mean, how do you delineate between those two things?
It's a good question. And again, it will ultimately come back to a court to decide that. I think the potential for this to be very important information really does carry a lot of weight. Sure, the president does repost a lot of things that don't move markets, but in the case that he does, right, where he announces, a shift in strategy in the war in Iran or a shift in the tariff policy around the world, well, again, those have major reverberations, and those are counted as official statements from the White House. Interestingly enough, it's not just the president who is named in this particular lawsuit. It's also Dan Scavino and another Trump administration official who has access to the president's Truth Social account, who could also technically be like typing these things out or acting at the direction of the president. So there's a kind of broader swath impacted here. But really what this is ultimately going to come down to, guys, is whether this is illegal or just a violation of the norms for a president. We don't really have a good, precedent on any of that. So it's kind of hard to say for certain exactly how this is going to play out.
Fascinating. Well, I know Greg has been dying to ask you a question about vroom vroom Ferrari because we were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, that's who's plunking out $100,000 to get the information here. The guy who spent $40 million on a Ferrari EV.
Yeah, that's right. So this happened over the weekend in Monterey, California. It was Car Week, which is this very glitzy event where people bring out the rarest, the coolest, the latest stuff to this big week-long car event in very beautiful part of California. And they basically do a car show. And it's also time for manufacturers to host these kind of high-profile auctions. RM Sotheby's hosted this particular auction of the very first Ferrari Luce off the line. It's literally chassis number 0. And they say it's the tailor-made version of that car, which has special paint and all these kind of special niceties. But it is ultimately the first electric Ferrari, which we got a look at earlier this year. Not everyone loved how that car looked. It was designed by Johnny Ive, the guy who did the iPhone, now taking those skills to automotive design, and it really did kind of rankle a lot of Ferrari enthusiasts and car enthusiasts generally when the wraps came off. More than just the design, people also took issue with the fact that this is an electric Ferrari at the end of the day, and that kind of maybe runs counter to their sporting pretensions, the V12s and the V8s that Ferrari is known for. You don't get that here. You don't get that engine note. You don't get that sort of same driving experience in a 5-seat electric crossover, essentially, is what this is. That was not enough to deter someone from plunking down $40 million at auction for the first one off the line. Of course, this was a charity auction, so there's a couple caveats here. One, that was inevitably going to inflate the value a little bit. It is the first one, so there's some sort of like collectability factor there potentially. All proceeds did go to the Ferrari Foundation, which is a foundation that supports education efforts around the world. They're rebuilding a school in California affected by the wildfires, for example. So that's a piece of this as well. In addition to that, Ferrari also is a sort of unusual brand in that you can't really just walk into a dealership and buy the most expensive thing. You have to get allocated a slot to do that, right? If you want the really special Ferraris, you have to be in Ferrari's good graces. And one of the ways that people can do that is by buying a lot of Ferraris. So Ferrari says they're not doing that with the Luce, that they are already sold out for the year for the cars that they plan to build for 2026. There's huge interest in China specifically, but you can imagine in buyers' heads that's going to play a pretty big role. It's like, hey, if you want the really fast V12 thing that's coming that they're only going to make 100 of, maybe you pick up a couple Luces, maybe pick up a couple quote unquote more pedestrian Ferraris on your way there. But again, Ferrari says they're not doing that.
Pretty amazing story. Always good to connect with ABC's Mike Dubusky on a Tech Tuesday. Thanks, Mike.
Of course, guys. Take care.
You too.
Access Legal is now Pivot Work Injury Law, a new name that better reflects our sole focus on helping Wisconsin's injured workers. We have the same mission, the same team, and the same dedication to helping those hurt at work. Our team has handled thousands of cases, recovered more than $50 million for Wisconsin's injured workers, and remains committed to fighting for the benefits you deserve. If work has taken a toll on your body or your quality of life, turn to the team you already know and trust. Visit pivotworkinjurylaw.com today.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Have you listened to WTMJ Outdoors yet? Well, what are you waiting for? Every Saturday at 2 right here on 620 WTMJ. Stories of the outdoors of Wisconsin and beyond as we celebrate everything in recreation. Every week we explore the trails and waterways of Wisconsin in the great outdoors. It's a great state on a great lake. Join me every Saturday, every weekend on WTMJ Outdoors.
It's WTMJ Outdoors, presented by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
When you're buying a used car, you definitely want to be in the driver's seat. So make a smart move by choosing a local Adam dealer. That's the Auto Dealers Association of Mega Milwaukee. A used car purchase from an Adam new car dealer comes with many advantages and more peace of mind. Adam dealers have a great selection of quality pre-owned cars, SUVs, and trucks to fit every budget, including certified pre-owned vehicles that are newer models with lower mileage. Certified pre-owned vehicles meet strict manufacturer requirements, must pass a full inspection, and typically come with an extended warranty. Adam dealers also offer top dollar for your trade-in and competitive financing, and they handle all the paperwork. Plus, expert technicians are there if you ever need service down the road. Put your pre-owned vehicle search into gear and find an Adam dealer at adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
That'll be $84.52.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey.
Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting the groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, I've already earned enough this morning to pay for that pizza night we're having Friday.
Wait, so the app pays for pizza?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
Get more out of your everyday. Upside is the free app that gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas, groceries, and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus. Remember, use promo code ACT5.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Wrapping up Wisconsin's midday news, a bit of breaking weather news here. Severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 10 o'clock tonight for most of the state of Wisconsin, anywhere really south of Fond du Lac. The counties excluded from the thunderstorm watch, at least right now, are Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha. But everybody else is pretty much in this thing until 10 o'clock tonight. That is Washington, Ozaukee, Waukesha, Jefferson, Dodge, Walworth, Rock, Sheboygan County, Fond du Lac County, Columbia, Dane, pretty wide swath here. But for now, Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha are on the outside of that. That could change, certainly. Severe thunderstorm watch issued at 2:49 this afternoon. It expires at 10 o'clock tonight.
We did that story earlier about the DNR confirming Wisconsin's first cases of EHD in wild deer this year. So the 2 deer were found dead in Washington County. There was one near Richfield, the other in West Bend. And the deer tested positive after people reported a cluster of healthy-looking deer dying near the water. And we had a fan write in saying our property along the Oconomowoc River in far southern Washington County, they've already had 3 dead deer on the 10-acre parcel. And I thought, oh, wow. I mean, imagine that, especially if that's your land. All of a sudden, you look out and it's one dead deer is enough, right? Especially you look to see if it's a car crash, something like that. Well, in this case, it wasn't. So 3 on that piece of land alone. And then the fan also said our neighbor who owns a smaller 6-acre parcel also had 2 deer dead along the river. They have crazy. Reported it because the DNR is saying, hey, if this happens to you, please report it. They want to know about it. They're keeping track.
Yeah, pretty nasty stuff. We'll continue to follow it here. It's 2:56. Wisconsin's Afternoon News is coming up.
Wet basements and foundation problems? For over 20 years, Accurate has been the Fix-It Show's trusted experts in foundation repair and waterproofing. Whether it's cracked walls, drain tile issues, or water in your basement, they've got